Crispy? How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Max. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, been a while since I did that. I forgot to do the warning sign. Should I
Oh,
do it?
right,
Or
the warning. Right. Oh, we'll be okay. I'm pretty.
we'll be okay.
I'm pretty
All right.
safe. Grandmothers love me.
Yeah, it's for me more than for anybody else. I can
Yes,
just
it
like
is.
flash it on the
Yeah, there you
screen
go.
there as an overlay, so you can
There
read
you
it for
go.
yourself. Yeah,
Yep.
there you go. I guess you had time to read it. If you didn't, you can pause and catch up on the accelerate. There you go.
Yep.
The due diligence are done.
Yes. The disclaimers have been made.
Yeah, the disclaimer. No, I'm not responsible anymore. If you hear, it's on
That's
you.
right.
It's on yours. It's your
That's
own.
right. If your fifis get hurt, you'll be okay.
Yeah, been a while since we did a tear off your skin,
Yes, it has been.
because sometime I don't want to force it. If I don't have a topic to talk about that tickle my fancy at the moment,
Hmm.
we're gonna skip. And that's why also like the time of the show change.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Keeps everyone on their toes. So that's okay.
there
It's
you
okay
go.
to have a
And
little bit of spontaneity. That's all right.
yeah. Now we're
And
both
we've
very
got
blessed.
some topics here that I think will be of some interest. I'm interested in them. So
Hello, Squatch Blended Lift, and hello, Doodle Squatch. Thank you for joining us. All right, is that enough time now? That's for people to get a time to get the notification and join. That's what we
absolutely.
always stalled in the beginning.
Mhm.
So there was a few things I want to talk about, and how do we do it? Do we talk about did we pre-announce the topic, or we just go through them?
Let's just start with
through
them and see where we go. Like, we may only go through one. So let's
Yeah.
let's just start with that first one. I think it's good. They're all good topics. There's no misses here, folks. You're gonna get your money's worth, no problem.
And when the juice is gonna be squeezed, we can move on to the next one. So that's great.
Yeah. If we've exhausted it or
Yeah.
we get
First topic
tired.
I want to talk about was the role of NPCs, right?
Yes, it's a good one.
And this is like out of those topics, at least two of those topics are inspired by the game the campaign that we're playing now on Monday,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Stuff that sometimes we realize and such.
Mhm.
And I made a video about that. Was it a week ago? Maybe like one of my walking on the
Yeah,
beach video
yeah, yeah. I think
about
so.
about the role of NPC and how when you should ditch NPC, or as a GM find reason for the NPC to go away.
Mhm.
As a player, find a reason to ditch the NPC, don't not drag NPC along like more than you needed to.
Mhm.
And in the video, I say like, that's something I'm still like forming an idea about, right? I'm not sure. I think like sometimes it's a problem when you drag along too many NPCs, but also sometimes it's worthwhile to drag along some NPCs.
Mhm.
And I say, that's something we should talk about at some point. Have a conversation so I can, form some idea, like bounce idea around, right?
Mhm.
So that's what we're doing now.
Sounds good. Sounds good. This was prompted. Now, no, some people, it's not their cup of tea to watch actual plays. I totally understand it. But this did come up because one of our game sessions, our recent game sessions, not the most recent, but I think it was I want to say number 2.
Number 2,
So
yeah.
session number 2, my NPCs were way too much in the spotlight, and it felt a little too much like the players were just along for the ride, and that's not what I wanted. It wasn't my intent. It just kind of happened, and I think there were some reasons behind it, but it prompted some discussions behind the scenes of do we have something? Do we have some kind of trigger? Do we say, this is, we can, if the, like, do we need to have a mechanic of some sort to communicate that we're at our limit with NPCs, or we've had it with these NPCs, or we want the NPCs?
Yeah.
Do we have to do something mechanical, or just let it be organic? It did seem to resolve itself, Max. I think you'll agree. It seemed to resolve itself in session 3 and 4.
Yes.
Wasn't as big of an issue. It was, so that tells me that it was squarely on the shoulders of the game master, who was just using NPCs too liberally and not having enough airspace between the interactions with NPCs and
But
other NPCs.
I see also sometime like as a I remember like in The Witch on Duncanville, like the game I was running for you, like at some point like I had too many NPCs to run. Like I had
Mm,
more NPC to run that I would have liked to, but I presented to you like kind of two NPC. Like my intention was to give you a choice. Do you want to go with this
which
type of
one?
guy or this type of guy? And then you wanted to go with both.
Hmm.
And in the same time, right? It made sense and feel with his character and stuff like that, and the way that the
Yeah.
situation, like I didn't want to let feel like hanging dry, right?
No.
His concept of character was he was controlling people and stuff like that. So he said, "Well, I need to give you some people to control, I guess."
Yes.
But I could also have found a way, like like one of them could have been like sick in the morning and then couldn't go, right? Like
Sure.
you know, would have been like been an amphister, would have been like taking some, so that's what I'm saying. Like there's some case, like there's some time where like it makes sense to drag the NPC along. It makes sense
Mhm.
for the NPC to be there. We also agreed, there was a term we were using at some point as non-heroic character, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
I firmly believe that's what an NPC should be, is
Mm,
non-heroic. So it's more
yeah.
of an NHC, a non-heroic character.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to, they're not protagonists. They're not supposed to drive the story. Like a protagonist, that's what it is. A protagonist is a character that drives the story along,
Yeah.
right? Instead of being dragged along by the story. NPC shouldn't be protagonists.
Mhm.
So, evidently, like the problem of the GMPC is a real one, like that we see oftentimes.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
so how can we? Is there like a is there a solution? Is there like a thing like, oh, what if I told the NPC to go away twice,
Mhm.
then it should fold for that, or like is that too rigid? Is that
I think that the risk there in my mind, Max, is that could become a little too formulaic.
yeah?
I say no twice and then I have to back down. What I think makes sense is if I try to picture the what's going on is if I were there. Like, so if this is something that was happening in real life, how many times do you tell someone to get lost in real life? Well, it depends, because some people, you just the slightest hint and they'll leave.
Hmm.
Others, they're not leaving. Doesn't even matter if you insult them, they're still not leaving. So I think it has to be done on a case by case basis, but where it makes sense. Like, for example, if you have an NPC that has a non-heroic character that has some sway, it has some clout, and you're going to say something rude to them, they're not going to hang around. Like, they're just going to leave. This happened in our first session of Horizon. The sheriff, who had some clout, comes into the bar and he gets lip from your character, Max,
Yeah.
and then he just like, okay, fine, then forget it, and then he walks away. Like, he's not going to hang around, he's just going to leave. Like, and I could see what rewatching that session, Phil was like, "Oh, no, 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 wait. Well, maybe like there's a bounty. I don't know. Let's talk about the bounty." But the guy was like, "No, forget it. I mean, you're gonna claim that I'm a switch hitter of some sort. I'm gone. I'm out of here. I don't have to. I don't have to listen to some stranger give me abuse. Like, gone." But in other cases, maybe the NPC is a little more intractable. Like, we had an NPC that was the con man. Well, he kept on poking his head into things because he's trying to ingratiate himself. He's running a con, and so he's hard to get rid of. So some should be easy to get rid of. They just, you know what? I'm not going to watch you torture this guy. I'm just walking away. Others should be sticky.
Yeah, but also like that's a good example because the con man, like that's his motivation, right? He's there to run his con and stuff like that. So he got motivation, he got an objective to accomplish, and
Mhm.
maybe that's the you know maybe that's when it becomes a problem. If you have NPC there because you as the GM want to have an NPC there or whatever you want to
Mhm.
voice, something like that.
Mhm.
Maybe that's where like you should maybe that's where the problem stem from. I don't know. It's a touchy. Because what are the game that we play? Like I remember like at the Fear City game.
Mhm.
That was something we discussed at some point when you had a character there, the lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah, that at some point
Yeah.
we said, you know what, just he's driving a bit.
Yep. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
So they just left him. That's okay. That's fine. I
Yeah.
do like the idea that NPCs, part of the role of an NPC or a non-heroic character is, like you mentioned, pursuing their own goals, often at opposition to what the player goals are. So the player character goals. So the characters they're trying to do something, and meanwhile, there's someone else that's there in the world, perhaps trying to get something else done, or competing interests, or maybe if not competing interests that don't perfectly align. There may be not
Hmm.
completely cross purposes, but they're they're not harmonious either. And there's maybe a little bit of antagonism. So, like, if you think of what are the roles of an NPC? Well, an NPC could be it could be you can look at NPCs as someone in the world that could help, but also someone who could hinder. Like, it should be depending on what their own goals are.
Yep.
And if their goal is to hinder, well, they may try to tie up the PCs more than the PCs want to be tied up. Like, just be in their
And
face, or
you can
yeah,
also have like the lost puppy that just want to stick around with the party because they admire them. They're not
sure,
gonna contribute much,
sure,
and maybe they look for the protection of the party, so they don't want to go out in the wild, right? Just like they want to stick
sure.
around, so to be safe.
Hmm.
So that's motivation, I guess. If you want to have like a NPC that's gonna help,
Hmm.
that's something like or that's gonna work in the same direction, I guess, than the party.
Hmm.
I think it's a good idea to maybe they can help in a way that is off camera, right? Off screen.
Sure.
Like, oh, while you do that, I'm gonna go over there and do that, and then like
Yeah,
it's done in the background. We
that's
don't
right.
look at it.
Sure. The reason why I think that's a good idea, Max, is because that fits that moniker of non-heroic. It's something
Yeah.
we don't have to see that happening. It's just, a guy, I'll go get the tire fixed, whatever. I can take care of this for you. Um, maybe not. Maybe there's something else going on there, but at least it's something that can be adjudicated, not not in real time with characters, as an interaction. It doesn't have to always be dialogue based.
In session 3 of the Horizon game,
Hmm.
you did that well with the what's her name? Isabella? Is that no? Yeah, Isabella.
Isabella, yeah.
What is that? March? Yeah. No, Branch.
Branch,
Yeah,
Isabella
Branch.
Branch. She had a
Yeah, better
goal. Like, she was trying to get something. She
Yep.
had a key for it. She was going for it. You guys you had parallel or shared ambitions at the beginning, but they diverge. You wanted
Yeah.
fuel and the ship. She just wanted to get this data, this very valuable data.
Yeah. And I think that was well done because like we could get to this place together. We can
Hmm.
needed her to get there,
Hmm.
and then like say, okay, I need to go do this. I need to go do my own thing. So then like
Yeah.
we didn't have to drag her along
No. No.
and keep her too active, right? And give her around, treat them as
I have.
equal or whatever.
That's true. You
Because
don't. Yeah.
she's a bit like she's a bit heroic herself. Like she's doing stuff and
Mhm.
she's pushing around the plot and stuff like that, right?
She
She
is.
did it.
She's
She did
after
in session two.
something. She has a
Yeah.
problem. She has a secret. She has friends and enemies. This is all based. The reason I like that for NPCs is based on Brian Jameson's book, because I like the idea of that. If I'm introducing a more than well, even if it's just an off the cuff character, Phil does this very well. He can just invent an NPC and then have that
Yeah.
NPC believable, and he uses a certain technique to do that.
She's a
My
pregnant
tech,
lady.
yeah, he always has a pregnant lady somewhere. But I like that idea of I I have a secret. Every NPC has a secret or should have something. They have a short term goal. What are they trying to do? Why are they trying to do that? Do they have an enemy or a problem, and they have a friend or an ally, and that's gives a lot to work with. And most of the
Mhm.
time, it's never going to come up. But in her case, in Isabel's case, it does come up. It's works ends up working in your favor. but it didn't have to. It could have just been a, hey, just leave her there, and then it's done. You blast out of the,
Yep.
instead of saving her, you could have just left her. That's fine. Um, things would have turned out differently, and that's okay too.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
And like now that we think about it, we talk about Isabella and stuff like that, right? And her having her own goal and stuff like that. And I'm saying like she's a bit of a heroic character in herself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not necessarily opposed to that. Having other heroic character in the story,
Mm-hmm.
but their heroic action should, happen on their own time.
Yes.
You know, we could have like a focus, like did like a have a like story about her, right, and
Mm-hmm.
see her
Mm-hmm.
going on and stuff like that, and her plot and her trial and tribulation, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But that's not the story we're focusing on at the
No.
moment, right? So she
No.
she does her stuff off screen. It does impact the world. It does like bring a.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe that's a rule as well, right? If you want to have NPC on screen, they take a more. They're not the one driving the story forward.
No.
And if they do want to impact the world and drag the story, that they should go do that on their own. And I
Right.
think that's fine. I
Right.
think because like sometimes like because like even like an antagonist in a sense, they also like impact the world and the story and stuff like that in a big time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they're not directly like opposing the like what they do,
Mm-hmm.
we can hear about the repercussion.
Mm-hmm.
We can hear about it after the fact,
Mm-hmm.
but it happened like off screen.
Right. Right. One of the things I think is important, and the reason why when we run games, we like to have an NPC close at hand, usually, is because we don't like to do info dumps. Like, I don't want to do this big exposition on, well, this is how, this and this. It's much faster to communicate a lot of information. It's a very dense form of communication when you have use dialogue with an NPC. Like, it's just really quick, and the NPC can communicate a lot of things without me reading a paragraph for the players to just sit there and listen to. Like, if you have an NPC there, you can get a lot of info. Just, even things like this in the Horizon game, when you showed up, we had talked about how your ship is kind of dodgy, but
Hmm.
in this system, immediately you have people fawning over the ship. Ooh, this is a nice ship. Like, this is great. Well, that is giving a lot of information to attentive and intelligent players, which you should only play with. If you're not playing with players like that, what are you doing? But if you have good players, then the players are already picking up, oh, so economically, this is not the same as where we came from. Our piece of junk ship is actually seen like this is a hot rod. Everyone's fawning over it.
Hmm.
And those kind of things are like, oh, okay. So you're communicating a lot of information just with that NPC saying a few words, which
So
is way
like
better.
that. I took it like there's not many ship being around and stuff
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a rarity, so like it's gonna
That's
be like
right.
there's gonna be a demand for it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You walk into
There's-
the bar, everyone's wearing cowboy hats. They all look over, and a hush falls over the bar. You're outsiders. They're already communicating that with the
yeah.
NPCs.
You're
And
outsiders, and they don't used to seeing them, right? And
yeah, and they're
they're
not
not,
friendly. Like,
yeah,
that's,
they're not like, oh, wow, you're from a foreign, like, how you
oh,
doing?
please. Yeah, let me buy you a
Yeah,
drink. No, they're not doing
no,
that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I like to have I like that's something sometimes like I tend to do put a lot of NPC and stuff like that. For me, it's oftentimes because like I don't know where I'm going
Mhm. Mhm,
because
mhm.
I make up shit as I go, and I don't know what you're interested in, what you're gonna interact with, right?
Yeah.
But then I have the problem of like jettison and those NPC, and sometimes I forgot, like in the Road to War game, at
Yes.
some point, like like with you're traveling in a group together. So I said I wanted to create this group, right, and having
Mhm,
this bunch of
mhm,
people there. At some point, I forgot
mhm.
about the girl in the car, and then like somebody reminded her, oh, she just ran off, right? Whatever. Like I need to fucking get rid of them. Like one of them get
Right.
killed, and so that's a problem. That's a problem sometimes I have, right? Because that comes from the fact that I don't want to just you dump you in the empty world, right? I want you
Mhm,
to, especially in the first game like that. Like I don't
mhm.
know where it's gonna go, so you
Right.
need to have people to. I want to give you some option, and
Yes.
because like the game is a lot about like the character interaction in my
Mhm.
mind, in my views.
Mhm.
I need to give you characters to interact with, and then you're gonna pick up on one. You're gonna feel like, oh, this one is interesting. This one is
Right.
talking to me. It's like, then we're gonna go with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I completely agree. And in my in-person game, there's kind of a running joke with myself and my players that uh, I get tired of NPCs very quickly. Like I don't like to be tempted to use an NPC to overuse NPCs. So I have a tendency to make reasons for them to not be in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But that also has a downside. If as soon as I'm introducing someone, my players are just waiting to see, well, what is he going to do this time to get rid of this? Or is this NPC going to die horribly as well? Because I do like to use NPCs to show the lethality of an encounter or an obstacle,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just saying, well, this is really hard. It's better for the NPC to be like, oh, dude, I mean, there's no way I'm going near that. That's death right there. Or through their dialogue with the player characters, they can communicate those target numbers in an indirect way, but it's nevertheless very efficient. The problem of my aversion to having NPCs in scenes in my in-person game is that sometimes an NPC is the object, or the object of the player's motivations and goals are centered around an NPC. And so you can have situations like, well, the and if you expand the definition of NPC to include things that aren't just humans, like just characters, living characters, maybe it's an object like the MacGuffin that you need. Well, that's in essence that NPC there. So it's you could be the NPC should at times be the object of the PC's goals and motivations. In your Horizon, in the Horizon game, you decided, and this is just because I think your character is a sucker for a sob story. You decided to go and get Evelyn and pick her up. You
Yep.
had what you needed. Why?
Yeah.
Why pick her up?
Oh,
Because
we made a deal.
you made a deal, and the NPC at that, and they're hot AI babes. Yes, of course, Phil.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
the
That'll feel.
the reason I think is because that NPC has become the object of the player character's goals and motivations. So if
Yeah.
you're too averse to having NPCs, you'll have a situation where like people generally care about things and what fame and reputation, but they also care a lot about other people.
Yeah.
So unless they're psychopaths, and maybe we just play a lot of psychopaths, that's not outside the realm of possible. But it still strikes me that it's important to have that as on the table. So if, let's say, Phil gloms on to one of the NPCs and his character is really interested in this character, and they become the object of his PC's goals and motivations, then it would make sense that that NPC may, if persuaded enough, stick around a little longer rather than hitting stage left as soon as they can. Like it's,
Yeah, but they
you know what
should
I
they should
mean?
be ready. They should be reticent to go into danger. They shouldn't be
Yeah.
too useful.
Hmm.
They can have like some use, right?
Yep.
Making a sandwich. If it's-
Yeah. Can make me a coffee and a sandwich.
yeah. No, like they could have like some use.
Hmm.
Like especially like if you have a keep and stuff like that, you have people like managing it and taking care of it when you're out adventuring, right? That's fine, right? Or you can send them to
Hmm.
town and get some like warn people for you, like that's fine, right?
Yeah.
But they should like that's the thing, they shouldn't upstage, or they
Oh,
shouldn't
totally.
they shouldn't even like be at the level of the PCs.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
even if you have them like involved in the fight, right? They shouldn't be as effective, and
No.
certainly not more effective than the PCs, and they shouldn't
Yeah.
be the ones doing the day.
Oh, completely.
Yeah,
We've all played in games like that, I'm sure, where
yeah.
there's the one NPC that's just so much better than all the player characters, and like, why are you just doing this? Like,
Oh, that's a very interesting comment here
no more of 2 out of 3.
of
Proactive,
the
skilled, cool. Ah, That would work. Can't be all three, but you can't. You can maybe be two.
Could you be two?
Two or one. No more than two.
No more than two. You can be one. Like
Mhm.
if you were two, you almost have to be like the opposite of the third
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
You can be skilled and cool, but you're very not proactive. Like what's the
Right.
opposite of proactive? You can be
Lazy.
you yeah, you can be proactive and cool, but you're very unskilled.
Hmm.
Or you can be proactive and skilled, but you're very uncool that the PC don't want you around, right?
Right.
So I guess you can be one and not too much of the other two, or you can be
Yep.
two and very much so not the other three.
That's right.
But
Yep.
that's like you should be in there, Phil.
That's good. Yeah. That's he's getting ready for some big school stuff.
Uh,
So,
I
but
don't blame you.
that's a really good idea.
Yeah,
That was proactive, skilled. I'm gonna write this down.
yeah. I don't know if you put some thought of that or just like coming up with that on top of your head there, but seemed like so far, I didn't put much thought in it. First time I see it, seemed like a very good rule.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be really good.
Yeah,
PCs are all three. Yeah, they should be.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice there. Great advice.
yeah. Courtesy of how to be a great GM. Okay, there you go. He took it from somebody else.
Oh, that's that one guy. I think his name is.
Yeah,
Is that right, Phil?
guy's name.
Okay.
Yes, the South African guy.
Proactive,
Which,
skilled, cool. No, that's good. It's solid advice.
yeah,
But it is a bit of a balancing act, isn't it? Because if the world is believable, then it's in depending on the setting, it'll be populated. And there's only ever going to be one PC per player generally. I mean, I guess you could run multiple characters, but I don't know why. Why
yeah.
bother?
I,
Not my
I don't.
favorite. Not my
Me
favorite.
neither. We can talk about that at some point. True play.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Done it a
I did.
couple
Okay.
times. But yeah. So at any rate, the where we have some issues, I have issues, is that we'll have NPCs talking to other NPCs. And no one wants to sit in a game where the game master is just talking to himself from different points of view.
Yeah. Oh, that's something like my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Having two NPC talk to each other, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like,
Me too.
and sometimes it happens, and sometimes you're
It
the
has to.
GM,
Yeah.
and it's like the players kind of like make it happen, and you try to avoid it, but like
Hmm.
the player keep no, you should explain it. Like, no, Bill, you should explain that to him. Like, say like, man, Bill's NPC and this other
Yeah.
guy's NPC. Now you're gonna fucking have me like roleplay with myself.
Yeah.
Come
I
on, guy.
don't, I reject that. So what I think a possible solution to that would be is just don't go word for word. Just take a step back. The one explains the things to the other, or they start a negotiation. They're bartering back and forth. They're arguing. You don't have to
Mm.
role play out the word for word argument. Just they're arguing. They're they're having a quiet conversation. They're small
Because like
talk between the two. That's
in
fine.
session 2 of Horizon that happened, but
Hmm.
we were also to blame in that. Uh, well, Phil and I, because like we did insist to tag along in this meeting that we wouldn't be like very involved in, right? Or just like,
Right.
so there was like, sometimes like it comes on, you sneak up on you as a
Yes, it does.
GM
Yeah.
by the player, like by the player being stupid, I guess.
Or just it just seems natural. Like for example, in that
Mm,
scene, the obstacle is you're in this busy casino. You're not invited to see
mhm.
Divot. There's no reason why he would want to see you. He's here, like, but there's this NPC that's introduced, and she is absolutely has reasons to see Divot, and it appears he likewise, right? So there's a meeting that's going to happen. You're piggybacking on that meeting to get in and see this guy that's stolen your ship. So
But I could have been
That's
like much more proactive.
mhm,
And like, there was all those guard around too, right? So I didn't
sure.
want to throw my life away, but like maybe they could have like some Finnegan with the situation there. Like that's something also I talk about. Like sometimes I say like, well, if you want if you want your play, like as a GM, you want your player to be proactive.
Yeah.
If you always put them in situation that seem hopeless or unsurmountable, and they want to play a character that doesn't just want to throw their life away, at some point, what you do when
Mhm.
you're in a hopeless situation, you just like do nothing, right? You just like
Yep.
fold and stuff like that.
That's
That's
right.
like in the Wild Ale game.
Mhm,
We talk about it in the tweaker, right? When the start of the game was slow,
mhm,
and it took a long time before we took off the capsule. And I told Phil, I said, like, if you made a capsule like suspended 15 feet in the air,
mhm,
if you had made it 10 feet in the air, we would have got out much faster.
mhm,
Like you
mhm,
went just a little too. Well, I'm not gonna fucking jump down, right?
mhm. Yeah, I
Because
just YOLO'd up the side of the
yeah,
hatch. Like,
which
oh, it's only
which
20 feet, no big deal. And I just jumped down.
which which kind of worked for your character too,
Yeah,
because your
because he was a
character was like,
simpleton, right?
yeah. But like somebody had to do it at some point, I guess, and then like we could have said like, oh, okay, I guess he did it. I guess we can, right? Just like,
Mhm,
but then the capsules start falling off, right? But like, but
mhm,
that's the thing. Like sometimes, like especially when things are not already in motion,
mhm.
you especially when things are not already in motion, you something that seemed like too unsurmountable, like it's gonna
Mhm.
stop you. Max didn't want to get his boot wet. Wasn't the one that threw my boots down to
Yeah, you were barefoot for
down.
the rest of that whole game.
Yeah, but like yeah, but I that the first thing I do like was I was the one that figured out how high we were by throwing a boot down, no, and counting how long it would take to hit the ground or the water.
I can't
I don't
remember.
know.
I
I don't
thought you
remember.
climbed out to the tree.
Yeah, after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so it's the same thing there. Like what if there was like only one guard that was there with David, one bodyguard, right? Just like would have
Mhm.
drawn my gun then and try to make a move where I could take David as a human shield, or
Right.
uh, I don't know. It's hard to tell, right? But like,
Yep.
we could have been more proactive. Like we were very like letting ourselves being dragged along.
It was
Uh,
at first. Now, towards the end of that particular scene, that obstacle, the
yeah,
meeting with this powerful man, and and then the station owner. So this is Clara Branch and her daughter. I recall Phil's character. So Brick starts getting involved because he starts talking about, hey, listen,
yeah,
we've got a proposition for you, and let's talk about this. And at the same time, I was realizing in the moment that I have too many NPCs here and they're talking amongst themselves and the players are just there, but they're not driving things forward. So I had Isabel check out a little bit, and then that allowed an opening. So for your character, Alan,
talk
to
with Isabel.
talk to
Yeah,
her at the bar, and then she starts fidgeting with the seam of her pant leg, and I was trying to kind of communicate that she's about to do something, but
hmm
there's hopefully enough space that if it made sense from Alan's perspective to get involved, then he could get involved.
yeah. And at some point, I told her like, "What if you were to do something? Do it, right? I'll back
Yeah,
you."
and then she's like, "Okay, it's on."
Yeah. So yeah, so there's a situation are not that easy. Like, and
Mhm.
like I said, like it's not like I think the honest is not all on the GM. Sometimes the player create those situations that are like, well, you're forcing my hand here, right? It's like to
Right,
to to do those role playing with myself moment, or to
but
have the character
but
drag you around.
yeah, you could. I think there's an overcorrection here too. Like you could say, well, we don't want to have that,
Mm.
so then you just never have NPCs around. But then it's
No,
an empty world
yep,
that doesn't make sense, and now you're absolutely going to have to do exposition dumps in some way, shape, or form,
hmm
um, and that's not ideal either. There's a happy medium here somewhere, uh, but it's a crowded casino. Like there's potentially hundreds of NPCs that could be interacted with.
yeah. But they're all gonna be like very minor, right? They're all like
They're all going
they're
to be
extra
minor.
basically.
Yeah, the guy on the slot machine right next to you, the guy that just got up from the slot machine, the dealer at the table, there's all sorts of other patrons, serving staff, everything.
What if okay, let's imagine something. Like what if in that scene, right, there's like Isabella and Clara Branch
Mhm.
and they're both going to the meeting. What if instead like we go to the meeting with Isabella and Clara is a more heroic type, right?
Yeah.
Even though she's NPC. She said
Mhm.
like I told her I got your gun and stuff like that, and so she could have said like, oh, that's great. I'm gonna go. You're gonna go to a meeting. I'm gonna go somewhere else, and then she do like this EMP stuff from off
Sure.
screen.
From
Like she
somewhere
said,
else. Yeah.
like
That would have
kill
been
David
better.
when you get the signal, right? So then like we can just be there. We can
Mhm.
skip forward a lot. There's this meeting. We're drinking at the bar. At some point, like
Yeah.
everything goes black.
Yes. In the middle of the discussion with Clara, Isabel's not nowhere to be found until
Yeah,
the lights go out. Yeah.
yeah.
That would have been
So
better. I
that
agree.
could have been something that would I don't know, just like or maybe like I said, like maybe just having like this one bodyguard, like the skull face guy with David.
Mhm.
That could have been maybe something that would change
Mhm.
the
The
like
dynamic a little bit. Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Open it up a little bit for something to happen. But at the same time, I was trying to communicate that this is a guy that's comfortable where he is. He feels like he's safe here.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's a challenge, but I like your suggestion. I think it's a potential solution is if something big is going to happen, like a big obstacle or something is happening in the world and it's being done by a non-heroic character, then that should probably happen off screen, like not in the scene itself, but be an obstacle that's introduced. Yeah.
Hello, Nerdy Ogre and Square Limit. Thank you for dropping by.
Yeah.
And the topic of the day now, we're a few topic we're going through. Now we're thinking about like NPCs and when to ditch NPCs
Yes.
and how not to have like NPCs become protagonists in the session. Basically,
Exactly.
how to not have NPCs lead the story and what's happening, right?
Mhm.
Letting the PCs do it.
Mhm.
Uh, and what we're coming to conclusion now is like if the NPC should be non-heroic characters, so they're not gonna be like super proactive, or if they are, they're gonna be like displeasant or stuff like that.
Or not
That's long
skilled. One of the
or not
3 on
skilled.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And if they are a little more competent and a little more of the heroic type, which sometimes can happen,
Mhm.
their big action should happen off screen.
Mhm.
Isabella and her mom were all three, I think.
Yeah, they really were, Phil. Yeah, they really were.
Isabella, yes. The mom was cool.
She was
She was,
cool.
I guess, cool should be like likable, right? Just like not
She's
necessarily cool.
likable.
Like
Yeah,
she's likable.
charismatic. Yeah.
Yeah, she was likable. Was she very competent? Was she very proactive? Not that much, no.
I wasn't trying to make Isabella cool. Like
No,
she
I'm
was
talking
more
about I'm talking about Clara, the mother.
the Clara, the mother, yeah, she was
Yeah,
supposed to be the I was
yeah,
picturing her as that older, cultured, um, gentle woman, the Southern Belle type. She was skilled with negotiations and all of that.
yeah, yeah. But she was like, but she wasn't like it wasn't to some level like that. That's remarkable, right? She's like
No.
competent to what she does, like that make her
Mhm.
believable. She's not
Mhm.
goofy. She's not
Mhm.
anti-skill. She's just
Right.
not, she's normal, right?
Just normal. Mhm.
Just normal. So I don't think that counts as a tick there. But
Mhm.
she was likable. Isabella was definitely all three. She was likable,
Yeah.
also like cool. But like, you see, you didn't try. You fucking gave her like a big titty AI girl, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's the problem with AI art, that
Yeah.
they always look great. So, yeah.
Hmm.
She did get you in, that's right. Clara was good at that. She was
Yeah.
opening doors, no problem. She was cool, calm.
But also she wasn't the one like we kind of one that made her do it. Didn't feel like
Yeah.
she wasn't like, oh no, you should come, like, saying, oh, like we acted to have her open those doors for us.
I think that's a really good point. It's better to have the players prompt things to move move forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad we're talking about this, because this is that session that I had the hardest time with afterwards. Going through it, I thought, oh, this is terrible. Totally pooped the bed on this one. And it felt like a course correction was needed, which was, I think, more or less successfully made in the subsequent 2 sessions, where NPCs are there and maybe competent, maybe cool, maybe skilled, but I don't think too many of them were all 3 after this. I think in this, yeah, you had to be convinced slightly. Maybe she wasn't proactive with helping us. That's true. That's true. They didn't take a whole lot of convincing. I mean, they already had their own issues with the guy you had issues with. So
Yeah, but we're the one that approached them, right?
you
And we're,
were, yeah, you were,
and kind
and I
of
do think
did
that's
like a bit of
that's
team talking.
preferable. Yeah,
Mm.
it's not ideal when you're in a session and the game master is like, no guys, this is your ally, no you can't, like gets frustrated. I've had this happen. I've been guilty of this. Why are my players always messing around with the wrong NPCs? Like, didn't I tell you this is, yeah, I don't like
Because
that.
like in the beginning of that session, right? When we lost the ship, we start on the pad and stuff like that, right? And I don't know if you remember, but like I tried to chase Evelyn away.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. And I thought that this session, I don't think we'd get the ship back this session. I thought we'd have a session, maybe even a few, right? Of just like fucking around on the planet
That's
and
right.
building a
Yeah.
reputation, and then fighting an opportunity to go get back the ship later on, right? We could have took the time. Like that's also the thing with the campaign, right? With the campaign,
Got time.
you can allow yourself like to waste a bit of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this problem looming. We don't have a ship anymore, which is supposed to be a spacefaring game, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, but we have this problem that we want to solve, and we don't have an obvious solution right there, right? And you kind of like provided the solution a bit with this guy and stuff like that. Even though, like I said,
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, we can help you now. Like, fucking get lost. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
They
could have
what I
come back
was going,
later, right?
yeah,
After we
they
did
did.
some shit,
Mm-hmm.
like got into bar fight or
Mm-hmm.
did some work from here and there, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
They did want to use you, Phil. Phil's last comment.
yeah,
Yeah, the cover story that you guys came up with was that you were entrepreneurs from out of system, and you were here, and you had just negotiated a deal, and so it was okay. Well, they're also here to negotiate a deal, and they're here to negotiate a deal to gain control of something that's going to bring more off system or out of system people in. So in my mind, I was thinking, well, of course, Clara could see the advantage of having you there, maybe as muscle, but also just using your cover story that was, hey, these are obviously
yep,
not, like, these guys aren't around from around here, clearly, and they've, according to themselves, negotiated a successful deal. Well, this is great. This plays into her angle with the antagonist Divot. So anyway,
mm-hmm.
it would be we had to strip naked and stand in an empty landing spot with nothing.
Yeah.
She gave us those clothes.
I did take away my hat and my poncho.
Yep.
Yeah, because she gave us the clothes. Yeah, but it's not it's not an easy issue to solve. I guess there's not a fast and hard rule, right? Just like I think
No.
it's just like you need to go with the. I guess like yeah, maybe feel for the rules that guide. I think that's if we say like proactive, skill, or I would say likable rather than cool, but I don't like the word cool.
Yeah.
It's overused when people don't know
Or
what.
I would say charismatic.
Yeah, with
Maybe.
some riz.
Yeah. But I do think that if you're going to have all 3, that's a great antagonist. So
Yeah,
if they're skilled, proactive, and charismatic, they're the bad guy.
yeah,
Or if not
yeah.
the bad guy per se, like if we're going to play on your recent video, Max, they're the
Mhm.
ones whose objectives don't perfectly align with the character's objectives. So there's
Yeah.
at some in some way, shape, or form, they're working at cross purposes to the players.
You want to go in there, right? Or I want to talk about the AI babe before.
Of course, we need to talk about the AI babes.
Yeah.
This is the role of visual aids. How much
Yeah.
is too
Wait, before
much?
like let's just do like
Yeah.
so okay. So the rules we can come with, right? Okay, trying to make NPCs
Hmm.
only maybe I would say only one of those things, like likable, skill, and
Yeah.
proactive. If
Strong with
they're
one, and then weak with a second, maybe, and then
yeah,
no good with the third. Like
yeah,
it's something.
something like that. There's some like there's a triangle. You can find your point in there. You can be like very strong in one. You have to be like weak in the other two,
Right.
or they can be kind of like all right in two, but they're gonna have to be like very weak in the third one, right? So it's maybe not like a perfect triangle, but
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think there's something there, right? It's something at least to consider.
I think it is. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's good general guideline. Another general guideline is when faced with situations where your NPCs are talking to other NPCs,
yeah,
move to the abstract. Go abstract as much as possible, so that the dialogue is still driven forward by players and not by the NPCs.
yeah. I would agree with that. Uh, Although that's also gonna be touchy because like you lose a lot of subtlety.
You can.
Mm.
Although that
The
you
other,
can judge that perhaps you could, before we leave this topic, you could perhaps judge that somewhat based on the interactions that the players are doing. So if the player interjects into the conversation, then that's an opportunity for me to break the conversation up now. Now it's back to NPC PC, which is great. That can continue as long as it needs to, uh,
hmm
rather than
yep,
NPC, which is tedious and should be
yep.
avoided.
And the last point, I guess, is NPCs that are more heroic should do their big action off screen. Should do their
Yeah.
yeah
Big events that happen from that don't
driven.
involve the heroic characters should
Yeah,
maybe be a little off screen.
yeah, yeah. Like action that have big impact on the world, on the sessions like that, driven by NPCs.
Hmm.
You know, try to bring them off screen. So we
Hmm.
so we're not just there like watching them like fucking idiot, right? Just like
Yeah,
oh
yeah. You don't want to just be spectators. Yeah,
yeah, look how cool she is. She's doing all that shit. Maybe we should
it is
help.
cool. Yeah.
No, does she not need us?
No, you're just in the way.
Yeah. So all right. I think I don't know
It's a
if
good
we
topic. I mean, I
so
think it's an art, like you say. I
yeah.
don't know that there's. It's hard, and this is why we struggled at first. When we're like, well, maybe we can just put in some kind of verbal cue or something that it's time for this NPC to hit the exit. It's not that simple. I like Phil's suggestion.
Hmm.
That's a good one. That's certainly actionable.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys can go fight those guards. She's got this. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mistakes were made.
Well, that's why we do those game live and then we talk about it now afterward,
Mhm,
right? Well, like we're
mhm,
experimenting and pushing ourselves, I guess. So
mhm.
we're trying to get better at it.
That's right.
We none of us have the pretension to be like the best, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, the best. That that's relative term, I guess. So
Just looking for myself to get better than what I was
yeah,
before.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I should like none of us has the pretension to be perfect.
No, no, that's right. Yeah.
I should say like that.
Perfection's a bit of an illusion.
Yeah,
It's the striving for it though that's fun. Like, oh, I'm gonna
yeah,
improve this. And oh, I kind of messed up with the second session, but that's an opportunity for me to shine in the third section because I'm gonna make some changes and we'll see how it goes. It's always good to do that. It's,
yeah. So next topic.
speaking
Are
of
we?
which, this next topic, the role of visual aids, how much is too much? Um, I think there's some scales here too.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to put a hard and fast rule on this one, but I do think some things are much higher value than others.
I agree.
Um, Visual aids, like where to spend your time for artifacts that you're going to show the PCs.
Mm-hmm.
I would put um, faces very high up in the value that you get from an artifact. Showing what someone looks like um, is really good. It's that and potentially well, and the reason why is because we as just as human beings, we're programmed to recognize faces, and you see a face, it's easier to remember the face. Like I flashed a lot of faces to you. If I showed you the pictures of the Horizon NPCs that you've encountered so far, you may not remember their names exactly, but you'll remember, oh yeah, that's the guy that tried to cheat us. That's the old guy with the cigarello in his mouth that lives in the trailer park. That's the guy. I may not remember his name, but because you've seen the face, that pattern recognition for faces is really strong. So having that, I think, is worthwhile. Oh, this is what Clara looks like. This is what Isabel looks like. Now, again, you can go overboard, and sometimes it's not important. I didn't have a picture for the guy selling lizards that are fried on a skewer. Is it really necessary to have that guy? No, not really. The guy that Phil invented at the um, let's call him
Casper.
the harbor master, that
Yep.
I didn't have a picture for that guy. I just described him as a guy wearing overalls and a sweaty t-shirt, and that was enough. There wasn't really needed to be more than that. Um,
I quite like that character.
yeah. So, but I
I
do
don't
like
know why.
I do like using, like, this is the reason why we like having character portraits. It's easier to connect with that player, that character, when you see this is what they look like. Uh,
Because
so I
when I
think it's
run a
useful.
game, I never do picture, right? But
Right.
also like I I don't like doing prep, and I don't know, I don't know who's gonna come up, right? I could have, I guess, a bank of picture, like setting specific picture, like a bunch of
Sure.
bank of generic picture from NPC for sci-fi or for fantasy and stuff like that.
Yes.
I guess that could be something that you just draw one from them. Like they do something like those deck of card and then you just
Yep.
draw one and you say, okay,
Sure.
now this guy is this guy, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
I
I
guess
like
that's fine, right?
yeah, that's okay. And I think the other reason why I like artifacts used tastefully is that it can set the aesthetic for the game. And setting that aesthetic helps establish the tone and genre.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in the Horizon game, I'm showing everyone wearing cowboy hats, or like they look like cowboys. It's space cowboys. So that sets the aesthetic. Oh, it's a dusty desert-like place. Okay, got it. It's a bit of a shortcut. We're trying to hijack your imagination a little bit here so that we can get to something very quickly. Same thing with the Fear City game. Okay, I have a certain aesthetic I'm going for.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a bank of a few pictures, you can go overboard for sure, but just a few of them to set the aesthetic, I think helps flesh out the world a little bit. Um, there's diminishing returns. The more of them you have, I think the less effective they become. But having a few, especially if you can, like Rick was really good with this in one of his games. He had a very specific art style that he was using for all of his artifacts that he was showing us. And that art style, because it was consistent, it was a little easier. I found it easier for myself to picture what he was describing because
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting it in that particular style. So I do think there's a reason to use this. Now we're not using battle maps, but I do think the closer that the artifact becomes to a battle mat, the less I think it's worth the time.
Mm-hmm. The Phil got a comment here. He said it has the possible and unintended consequence of more weighted importance, like Al Pacino like Al Pacino. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if it was like Al Pacino or AI Pacino walking
AI
to a
Pacino
scene.
is probably better. Yeah.
Oh, this guy matter because like we often generate those picture with AI, right?
Yes.
Oh, this guy matter. But
Mhm.
that's a problem with the sans serif font,
That
I guess.
yeah, that can happen, Phil, absolutely. And this is the same problem that happens for those that are relying on battle maps. As soon as you put out the gridded battle map, then you're telegraphing to the players that I
Mm,
expect combat to happen here.
yeah.
Now you can
And-
I've told players before in my in-person game, just because I have a map doesn't mean you have to have a fight here. But most players are like, okay, I see the map here. There's only really one reason why he would go to the time of drawing out the map, and that is that we're going to be in combat.
yeah. The reason I wanted to discuss this topic is because and we talked about, I think, was that online when we talk about that
Mm-hmm.
in the game in session three
Session three.
of the Horizon. Yeah.
There's one artifact in particular that caused problems. Yes,
Yes,
one image.
at
Mhm.
least that raised my concern about that, and it
Mhm.
was this scene, right? This big scene where the cave, the vault,
It was
basically. Like,
yes, the interior of the vault, but it's
yeah,
huge.
it's huge, and there's a lot of details, right?
Too much detail.
And
Too
I
much
like,
detail.
I try, like, I want to stay in character, and for me, staying in character is seeing the world through the eyes of my character. And now we had
Yes.
this big picture from
Yep.
a disembodied camera
Yes,
that is
bird's eye
not where I'm
view.
at.
It was too much
Yeah.
information. Yep.
And now, like, I'm no longer looking at the world through the eyes of my character. Now I'm looking at this
Mm.
picture, trying
Yep.
to identify stuff that I can exploit, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Maybe if the picture would have been taken, like, if the camera was like in the door, right? Like where we're at and when we see and we have an unperfect, like, maybe that would have good work better. But again, when there's too much detail, too much
Mhm.
resolution, and I'm looking to solve a problem in some way, interacting with that, for me it became distracting. And maybe just like a me problem. Like it felt
Yep.
like, I feel like I'm playing like Where's Waldo, right? Just like trying to find
Let
clue here.
do you want to throw I put it into the share screen.
Yes.
This is the picture that we were talking about.
Yeah.
This particular picture, it's too busy. Now I like the picture from
Yeah.
because in my mind it's yeah, that's really close to what I was envisioning for this villain's lair vault where he keeps all of his valuables. But as Max is saying, it's too busy. And where are the player characters? Well, they start off on the very bottom, um, near those stairs, like right at the very bottom of this image with a but
On the
are
right.
they exact on the right?
Yeah.
And so you really wouldn't have the player characters shouldn't have this view. They don't see
Yeah.
this at all.
No. And
Um,
and at first also I thought like we were started on the left, right? And through the
yes,
description, like as we progress, I realized, oh, okay, we're not where I thought we were. I don't know. I
no,
thought we were coming from this little bridge that comes from off the screen on the left.
that's right. Yeah.
Uh, but then I realized, no, we're not. So,
And then because I'm using this image, but I don't have the your ship in the image,
mm-hmm,
then again, it's this it's perhaps a juxtaposition of too much detail and at the same time ambiguity because where's the ship? If I see the whole vault, shouldn't I also see where the ship is? Where am I? Would my character see the ship? Well, probably not.
mm.
So is it reasonable to show this? So this doesn't work. I there were some that
But
I just think it's too much.
but
It's
I think it could work in some context, and I'll come back to that later. But I want to say now oh, fuck, I lost my train of thought. I uh I lost my train of thought. I think the picture could work if it was like an establishing shot
mhm,
of some. Oh yeah, no, wait, before I go there. Yeah, one thing, like, what didn't work also is because, like, now, like, it fixed, we often talk about like increasing resolution
yeah,
and with the co-creation, stuff like that, and then like we can add stuff, but now, like, oh, now it's fixed. You just
that's
give me
right.
like all this info from the get-go. I kind
Yeah,
of have to take it all at once, right? And then
that's
like
right.
this, it is what it is now. Like, oh, the bridge is the little like walkway is there,
It's
and
there.
the
Yeah,
entrance is there, and there's like a pass, and there's like some building up top there, right? Just like, now I have
right.
to take all this information at once.
That's right.
And I'm trying to juggle with that instead of like starting with a low
Mhm,
resolution thing, and then we increase the resolution where I can like true play. Like
that's right.
now that the thing are fairly undefined, but as we interact with them, they become more defined and they become more higher resolution.
That's
I
right.
prefer this other matter better, because
Mhm.
now like what's important get fixed, and the
That's
rest
right.
it's kind of like it's still up to grab, right? Instead of
Exactly.
being a now that was for me it was kind of like information overload. But what I was about to say is like this picture could work as an establishing shot
Mhm.
if we were if that was like a hidden base in some kind of
Sure.
asteroid or whatever, right?
Sure.
And then you show that this is where you are, this is the location you are, and then we're gonna start in like, oh, the little building there with the yellow light,
Yeah.
that's a restaurant, and you're in
Mhm.
there, right?
Yeah. That would
It
work
gives me
fine.
an idea of the setting and give me but I don't have to take all the information. Like we've been there before. It's a
Yeah.
place we know, so okay, we have like a bit vague idea. Like I don't have,
Mhm.
and then we do the action like inside of that, but like inside of like a subset of that. So I think in that case, this picture would work, right?
Right. I'm gonna stop this one, but I wanna show another one that we also used, but I
Yeah.
think that worked much better as an establishing shot or establishing artifact, an image to let the players know where what the world is like, and that's this one. So this one works. This is the
Yeah.
Shady Acres trailer park. Um, that's a lot. First of all, it's not as busy, so there's not as many things going on. But as an establishing, okay, here's where you are. The
Yeah.
taxi drops you off at a trailer uh, in this desert trailer park. This I think worked okay. There's
Also,
not
like
as much ambiguity. It's pretty
the point of
easy.
view, we can imagine that we came like from, that's what we
Mhm.
saw as we came, right? We came from off the picture, like, back from where the camera is, right? we,
Yep.
we could see ourselves like coming in from this angle, so
Yes.
there's not this discrepancy between the point of view.
Exactly. It respects the point of view of what the characters would
Yeah.
have. Whereas the
Yeah.
previous one is not, unless they flew into the cave,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have that point of view.
Yeah. And like you said, like it's not too busy, and also we weren't going there with like in a
Mhm.
stressful situation.
True.
We weren't going there like trying to fight people, like rushing in, trying to rush like in and out of
Yeah.
that place, right? Maybe that was also a big part of the problem, that like the kind of like setting, that kind of like a
Mhm.
tempo of the scene that we're supposed to,
Sure.
we get into like very busy picture when we're supposed to go like, okay, in and out
Yes.
in a rush. We wouldn't have
So
time to get all this information.
you
That's
wouldn't
also like
have all that detail.
a
That's right.
clash. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
very true.
Like
Um,
that. Like maybe we drove, we went there, like we flew there, like in this taxi from afar. We had time to take in the scenery, so it doesn't feel like as much as a clash.
yes.
So I
Yes.
think that's something to consider as well in the use of picture.
Yes. Is it? Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. Um,
Mm,
we had a
yeah,
few others. I can share a
atmosphere, not
few others.
technical.
Yeah, that's right. It's more of the atmosphere, and I think that holds true for this image that we used. Just very briefly, this didn't stay on screen very much at all, and this was a establishing shot for the casino. But it didn't need to be on for long. It was just there for a little while, and good enough. Like that was
Yeah,
enough. It was just okay. Here's over the oasis, this floating casino.
and that's
Good
far
enough.
enough and low detail enough that I'm not looking for. Oh, okay, I could blow up that thing there. It's like
Right.
it's vague, right? It's like a
It's
first
vague enough.
impression.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks big. Exactly how big? Not sure. Well, you wouldn't
yeah,
know. It's large. It's floating. Where we start to come into issues, I think, is going back to that cave shot. It's interior shots with higher detail that can become. I think you start to get diminishing returns with this. Like, if you don't mind, I can share this one too. This one
no, I don't mind.
is I think it's okay, but we start to run into some issues here. Let's just see if I can get this present share screen window. This is the casino interior.
Yeah,
Now, again, we have good players, so good players can then populate that interior with crowds of people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have experienced players, or if you're not, used to theater of the mind, it starts to stray into that tactical map,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Like this picture, I didn't think like it didn't disturb me as well, but also we didn't have like this big action scene in there. But
No.
I would have gone without.
Hmm. And
Or
I would have gone without the next picture that I used in the casino. I would have absolutely, in hindsight, I would not have used this. And it's this one here. I don't know if this is useful for anybody, but as much as I like this image
yeah,
as a establishing atmosphere,
yeah.
um, it, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Because this
Okay,
is
that's interesting.
almost too much detail, but it is
That's an
establishing the environment.
that's an interesting case because this image didn't bother me because this is something that is familiar. This is something I
Mhm.
would use to see, right? If you didn't have
Right.
the picture and I would try to imagine it, you said I got this two leather couch facing each other. It's
Mhm.
very ritzy.
Mhm.
It's like there's like the bar with all the bottle in the background. That's pretty much what I would have seen, right? It's not
Mhm.
something unusual, it's not something strange. Like
Right.
so it didn't bother me. Like there was like this like clash that now like, oh no, like I didn't feel like I have all this information to take in at the moment, right?
Right. Right.
Because like this information can get in my head very fast because it's something that is familiar.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there's maybe something there as well, right? And maybe like,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
again, like I'm not like I'm shitting you. There's probably something, you know. What I'm saying now is like we probably shouldn't just show picture. Like it's not always a net positive, but I don't know if the line is always clear in
No.
that sense, right? This picture, like I don't think it was necessary,
No.
but I don't think it was harmful.
It didn't detract from things
Yeah,
as much.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think part of the issue with that first one, and I agree with you, Phil, on that, but
That it can be tactical.
I mean, it's simple enough because it's just a room. It's just a single room.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's simple. Like we don't like it's not overwhelming,
it's not. It's not.
and also again, it's fairly much in the POV of the character.
Yes, which is
That's
why
what we
I
would
think
see.
I think like images of recurring objects are useful.
Hmm.
I like the images of the horizon. Like this is your ship. It should
Yeah,
become familiar. It's the um, showing you a picture of what I imagined Harlan's pickup truck was. Uh,
yeah.
I don't think that's very disruptive. It's fine.
No,
It's nice if it was the same aesthetic. Um,
set up a tone. Like in
yeah.
the Call of Cthulhu game, right? If like they were fighting about this book, right?
Mhm.
If Rick would have came up with a picture of the book, that's fine, right? Like
That's totally fine.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna spend my time. Like I'm not gonna be hunting for clue necessarily in the picture.
Right.
Do you have the picture of Skullface?
I do. Yep. I can
Can you
grab
share that
that.
one? I want to talk about this one a bit as
So
well.
now which one? Not divot, but just the
Yeah,
tough.
the yellow bad guy. Yeah, that we saw
Yep.
in the
Okay. Let me
in
grab
the
them. So
marker.
so this one here, I mean, I really like it, but I wonder. Okay, let's grab him. This is
Do-do-do-do.
the one you're referring to, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw this guy and I didn't expect him,
Hmm.
there was a bit of a tonal clash there. And when
Hmm.
this guy came up, and I wasn't sure what it was,
Hmm.
and with that picture, I started like hunting for clues.
Right.
And
Right.
this one was a bit distracting. Like, and I was
Hmm.
looking like, oh, what are those things in this armor? Can I interact with that? Can I try to buzz that up? Can I,
Yeah, I think yeah, I'm going to contrast this one with a different one
yeah.
because although I'm going with this, I was trying to show the Iron Hands we called them,
Mm-hmm.
this gang of enforcers that Divots use, his hired muscle. I think this is one where the better image here with these two is this other one, and I'll show you. I'll share this other one. And I think it works a little better because it's not quite as high detail as this one.
Crispy, I like him. Yeah, he look cool.
I like
But
him
like
too. I think it looks
you're
fantastic.
in a kind of a high tension situation that you'll need to get an advantage that you can, like that's where like I start like looking, and maybe it's a flow with me. Yeah, this one,
I
it's a
like
bit of
this one.
mystery and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like this one a little more just because it gives the vibe, the aesthetic is there, but it's not tight. It's not so detailed on the one that you're like, okay,
Yeah,
I see he's wearing this. There's enough, but it's not too much. I think this one is a little better.
it's
Though I
not
like the
overwhelming.
aesthetic of the other two, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. This one we see like okay, they like and also like there's a question like, was there a guy in there? Is this just a machine? Is there, like
right.
we didn't know, right? Just like, so now like I'm hunting for clue in those with those guy. I would probably assume there's a guy
There's
in
a
there.
guy, yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be, well, these are guys wearing more advanced armor, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the idea behind them.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, so that's the point I want to make. Like, like with even with character, if you introduce him as a bad guy in a high tension situation, and now the guy stay on screen, and maybe maybe that's a problem as well. Maybe it's a matter like, oh, you flash it, okay, this is the guy, and then you take it off so I can, I don't know, maybe,
yeah, you
but
just
maybe
briefly show like this is.
I don't know if that's a solution. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's about the detail, trying to keep
Yeah,
the detail less, like
manage the
less fine
details.
detail. Yeah,
Yeah.
give an impression, like, maybe a little like not quite as well lit, maybe,
Mhm.
just give a general impression. Then,
Well,
because for me,
yeah, I think you're right. I think an impression, the atmosphere we were saying before, like it's the purpose is to reinforce atmosphere, give you a rough idea. There's another one here. This one was very briefly shown. I don't think this stayed on screen very long at all. Uh, Again, just an establishing shot essentially to see this was
yep,
Pillar Town, right?
Pillar Town, yeah. And again, that's shown from afar. We can assume that we came from there.
Yeah,
I don't know what that guy is, but that doesn't matter. We know it's
doesn't
just
matter. That's just a scale, I guess.
yeah,
But
yeah, just like
yeah.
AI artifact.
See, Squirrel, you make a good point, right? Every time you show artwork pictures, you want to make it clear what is shown is either exactly what you see or that it's an aesthetic. And
Yeah,
that's the thing that we're wrestling with is that the if there's too much detail in the artifact, if their image has just too much, either it has to be exact, which invites players to now start looking for specific things on the image to give them an advantage or to play off of, or it's not exact, and then it becomes, well, how ambiguous is it? Is this something that can I rely on it at all? So that's why I think more establishing shots from a distance rather than
you
close-ups,
know,
unless it's an object. I don't know. That's
I'm thinking about something just now, right? Maybe the Frazetta aesthetic
mhm,
has a reason to be, right?
mhm,
When the way that friends Frazetta, am I saying
mhm.
his name right?
Yep, Frazetta. Mhm,
Yeah, Frank Frazetta. Yeah. Uh, the way that he used to do his painting,
mhm,
oftentimes the detail were a bit blurry, right?
mhm.
But he was trying to give like an impression
Yes.
of the scene, and then your brain fill in the blank, and like, and the picture, like there's not that much resolution, the little detail and stuff like that.
No.
Maybe that's a stylistic thing that would work well for RPGs. Maybe
Maybe.
there's a
And
reason why he's the master of fantasy illustration, right?
I think part of the reason why he's a master is that when you look at his pieces, there's always there's always movement, or there almost
Yes.
always there's something moving. There's someone in there's a lot of motion implied in the compositions as he lays them out.
Well, not
And it doesn't hurt that he likes to
not
draw beautiful
always,
women, but
but
not always, but oftentimes
like
you'll see it. Like you'll see the muscular guy with a sword and a tiger, and then there's a woman at his feet or off to the side, and oftentimes with her back turned to the viewer, so that her gifts are shown from a certain angle. And it works. It works really well. There's a lot of motion. Even something like that, like there's
Yeah.
motion in with the vultures in behind,
Yes, and
right? Like
there's also like
there's movement there.
there's also emotion. Like there's a lot of storytelling in that picture.
There is, because if you look at the tail, the horse's tail is in motion. It's blurred.
Yeah,
It's moving.
yeah.
Um,
But then again, like like you see a lot of like kind of detail in the saddle and stuff like that, but another detail that
yes,
matter, right? It's like it matters in the sense that it tell a story, that it's the texture, it's richly decorated, so like
yeah. Look
but
at the face. Like look at the you
yeah,
could tell like just the glowing red eyes, but no features
yeah,
shown.
and like
Um,
the armor is not like too much detail, or there's
no.
some like the I think that's a nice level of detail, right?
Yep,
There's a lot of like use of shadow and stuff like that.
that's right.
Uh,
I mean, there's the breath of the horse that you can see. Again, it feels alive. Like
yeah,
it's not
some of them I
static.
cannot show, but okay, can I do that? Okay, this one. Oh wait, I need to share this tab instead. Oh, we have a guest. Hello,
Oh, there's
Phil.
Mr. Phil.
Oh, hey guys.
Rick.
How you guys doing?
Good. You can add yourself to the stream.
I know, but I felt like that would be rude.
Oh,
No, no. Can I show that
so
on YouTube? I guess that's
well,
fine.
you
Right?
have already, but this is again, it's an example. There's movement happening here.
Yeah.
The heroine with the knife in her hand, she's moving. She's in an action type pose. Same thing with the kitty cat. Eyes wide, hackles raised, mouth
Yeah.
open, growling.
But my point I
But
wanted to make also, like you look at the scenery, right? It's fairly low resolution.
yes,
It gives you the information you need. It gave like the impression that you need.
sure.
And same thing with the cat as well. The cat is not like super detailed,
No.
but you get what's happening. You get the important stuff, and you don't spend your time like you don't focus on like like if you would show me that and say like you just cut the woman and stuff like that, right? Just like because we don't need that.
Mhm.
It's also not
And the-
super clear how close the cat is.
No, it's not. The scale
Yeah.
isn't entirely clear.
Yeah.
But the detail is on the cat's mouth and its
Right.
its face, right? That's where
but
the
you
detail
you
is.
show me like I like you say, oh, there's a you see coming out from the tree this, and then you show the big picture, and then I say, okay, I get it, it's a giant cat, and I'm
Mhm.
not hunting for detail. Maybe also it's because of the team, but I don't know. It's just like a same thing with
I-
like that dealer that we've seen before, right?
Mhm.
She
What do you
never
say?
skips leg day. I can tell you that.
No, she's
Yeah,
very well. It's a Frazetta piece, so
yeah. Like
There's-
this one, share this tab.
It-
Again,
great.
right? I
There's
get the impression I
motion there.
need.
Yep.
Yeah, and I get the impression I need. It's a fighter with a shield, seem competent. Can't really even tell if it's a male or female there. I think it's female. Maybe not. Oh,
You
it's
get the
male.
main things there. Like you got the horse, the challenge, the raised sword, the shield, the cape flowing in the background.
Yeah.
Um,
But the resolution is kept fairly low. That's my
Yep.
point, right?
yeah,
So I think maybe there's a lesson to learn there.
yeah, I think so. I think so. I like using artifacts. I think it's good to have them, especially for characters. Yes, it does telegraph a little bit that maybe this is a recurring one, but just as a peek behind the curtain for how I was doing things with the Horizon, I just had slideshows that I made, and I just called one of them men, and then the other one was women, another one was locations, another one was vehicles and other things. And then as things happened, I would just grab what I thought worked for
Mm-hmm.
for that. Like I didn't. So that's how I had it. So the Clarence branch, yeah, I just went into my men, the men that we had generated in the same aesthetic, and then I just pulled one that I thought, oh yeah, this guy could be your brother.
Okay, good.
So
I was
Yeah.
I was wondering if you had like specifically chosen pictures to assigned to people or not?
No,
You
I
just
just
have
had
like a list of names.
I just had a list of names. I named them all. I had a little name generator for Old West names because I was again going for that aesthetic. So you have,
Mhm.
you know, and I didn't end up using quite a few of them, of course, because it just didn't come up. They weren't needed, or there just wasn't enough interaction there. So that's fine. Yeah. So
That's
that's what I
good.
was doing is I was just looking at those, and then we came across somebody, and I'm like, oh well, this guy looks like here's my sheriff. So all right, here's the sheriff. This is his name. This is what he looks like.
Yeah, I didn't feel like compelled to care about the NPCs, even though they had
Nor should you.
pictures.
Yeah.
Like with
Well,
the
we
old,
a lot of them, like especially in session 1, a lot of them would just like
yeah,
say, yeah, you know what, that's fine.
like the old
Yeah.
Like
man.
the old man,
Yeah,
The old
the
man.
sheriff.
Hmm.
Yeah, we blew off a lot of them.
even the first guy,
Yeah.
whatever his name was, the con
Nate
man.
Con
Lay.
man.
Yeah.
Nate
The con man.
Yeah.
He turned out to be
Yeah.
important, but
Yeah.
Yep. That was this
Did
guy.
you have something you wanted to share? Some wisdom you wanted to share, Phil?
I thought I would, but you guys started talking about art, and I'm stupid, so I don't know that stuff.
This was the con man.
Yeah. See, this one like
Handsome.
kind of fit like like all the background. It's just like give an impression without too much detail.
He still
Same
got
thing
that
with his.
Edge of the Empire look as well.
Yeah, that's also a problem with the AI art, right? We're like trying making everybody too handsome.
Yes.
I know some people like can manage to get like normal looking character.
Yeah,
But
It's challenging. The AI wants to draw everyone with like perfect
or
features.
they're gonna make you like somebody like very fucking monstrous because you really have to weight it hard, right? No, he's not handsome, right? I just want a guy like a regular guy, but
yeah. It's like you mean like this? I'm like, no, they're still handsome.
Yeah.
This
like let me show you this 9 out of 10. No, I want somebody like a 6, right?
This was the hardest prompt to make work, and it never came up. But this is because
you're
what
not
we're
going to
talking
show
about
us real Divot, are you?
This is Divot.
You
will. There you go.
Show us real Divot.
Yeah.
So
the AI stuff.
It was really tricky. This was Big Bad that helped me get this one. I'm like,
That's nice,
okay,
man.
I need an old man hooked up to VR, cool. Like a bed, and it was tricky. It was really tricky, and in the end, it never came up. But that was
the bed very short, the leg very long.
Yes, yeah, just ancient man. Yeah, still has a hard time drawing it. Like the scales are not great, but
yeah,
at least for now.
His toes are jacked
are jacked up, but I could excuse that. That was
because I think the feet that hang from the feet, the bed like that, they are all swollen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have
the other Divot, the one that we saw in the bar?
I do. Yeah, I've got that handy.
Casino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is his avatar kind of thing.
Yeah, because this one was just machine. There was no man inside, right?
That's right.
Compared to the Iron Man.
That's right.
I'm glad that I didn't end up being a murderer.
No, you just blew apart his machine. His telefactored into this.
I don't think I've killed anyone yet.
Yeah, not yet. I don't think.
No, we didn't.
Not
Maybe
yet.
you didn't. I don't know if Skullface is a.
Oh yeah, it's true. I shot Skullface in the.
Yeah, so that's one. You got one.
I guess one buddy.
Okay, so you got one, not me.
Yeah. Well,
but I like this. I think these are useful as an atmosphere. Like here's the tone. Here's the genre. Okay, they're wearing cowboy hats. Even the robots wear cowboy hats. You remember that? Like the big mech thing that comes in. I'll show a picture of that. Again, trying to paint that picture with these artifacts. I think it works. But
the Southern Divot also is also like a case of well, now I'm looking for advantage, right? I'm looking for stuff I can pull. Like this one, not so much, because again, we're a bit further away.
You're a little further away.
The resolution is much lower.
Mhm.
So okay, I see like there's some wire there, right? But I could have made that up as well. There's
Yes,
some
you
like
could have.
maybe is that some antenna on his shoulder or
Yeah,
something else?
something. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
there's something there, right? But it's like it's not like detailed enough that it's attracting my attention on thing for detail, on thing for advantage.
I think you
Right.
kind of have to have a more meta view of AI art. I mean, Crispy's
Yeah.
using AI art. I'm not going to be like, oh, there's a little fucking wire right there, Crispy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
You
true.
didn't
Yeah.
account for those little wires that the prompt printed out
Well,
for you.
that's why there
Just kind
is.
of assume there's a low resolution.
Yeah, and
Maybe.
I do think that the
Maybe it's
more.
a problem with maybe the problem is with me, right? Like I said that earlier. Like maybe it's not like a maybe I'm trying to have
At
everybody else solve my
last, at
problem.
last, we're getting to the issue.
Well, I do think that the issue with artifacts, as much as I do like having them for, especially for characters, there's something to be said for just encouraging imagination. There's nothing
Mhm.
really to.
Yeah.
Nothing. No one's harmed if Isabel Branch looks different to Max than he does to Phil
Yeah.
in the imagination. It's totally fine. There's not a big deal. I didn't bother to get the picture of a lawyer when you're negotiating with on the branch station. I had an
Yeah.
establishing shot for the branch station, but I didn't have any of the interior of branch station. I didn't feel it was necessary. And the more that we practice, exercising imagination and seeing things with your mind's eye, the less you have to rely on these things. They're nice to have. They can be additive, as we've been discussing, but they can also become a bit of a crutch. And do you really want to spend
Yeah.
hours of your life trying to prompt an AI to produce this? Like,
They also like can if you think a scene is gonna come in handy and then you make AI art, like
yeah,
like there's always this danger of like, or maybe you would want to have the scene happen, right? So like, you
yes,
can like it's always the
yeah,
same thing with the battle map. Oh, I set up this battle map ready, so now you're
hmm
gonna have like this fucking battle happen, right? Just like,
hmm
it's I'm not saying it's gonna happen necessarily, but it's a danger, right? It's a temptation
that's
is
true.
there.
So I guess the question is, would you rather see that large mech, or
hmm
would you rather Crispy describe a large mech? Like take the time to just describe what's walking down
For
the
me, just
tunnel.
describe is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like the large mech didn't bother me seeing it,
Yeah.
but just describing. Although the hat,
The hat was unexpected.
the hat.
no, but like
Good job,
when I
the
when
hat.
I when I when I blew the reactor of the ship in his face, the
Yes,
hat could have came in play then.
yeah, it could have.
Could have actually
Honestly,
protected him.
the
Mhm.
only reason I thought he was Divot is because he was wearing a hat,
Yeah.
the big mech.
Mhm.
But it could have been described.
Well, the voice too, right?
And in fact, if Crispy describes the hat, I'm probably
Mhm.
thinking, oh shit, it's Divot even more.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because
That's
it's kind of
true.
like a punctuation mark on his description.
Exactly.
And I knew like the mech was coming. I was expecting the big mech.
I actually
because, like,
did not know what the hell was coming. I
oh
know
no, like
you on the rewatch. I realized you knew something was like immediately. Something's like walking towards us.
yes, like for me with the signal Crispy was sending
Yeah.
Yeah.
was like, oh, there's something big walking toward us, so it's gonna be a big mech or some shit, right?
I actually thought it was like artillery shells
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I was just doing boom,
thudding into the
boom. Yeah.
wall for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Like criminals trying to figure out their way into the vault or something like that.
Yeah, that
Okay.
could have been it. Could have been
That
it.
could have been. Yeah.
I could have been wrong, right? I could have said like, oh, there's something walking toward us, and then oh no, it's artillery shell. Okay. No,
Yeah.
been wrong. That's not a problem.
Well, I was wrong and you were right. It would have been the other way.
Yeah. Squirrel Limit was saying, anytime I show artwork picture, I make it clear that what is shown is exactly what you see, or it's aesthetic. Yeah, maybe that's or maybe you can just make a general rules, like like their indication. They're like general.
Yeah, social contract style.
Mhm.
My unasked, that was a comment out because I think we did this comment before by Squirrel. My unasked for opinion. Well, there's a chat for a reason, nerdy ogre.
There's a flat ask out there.
Mhm.
Yeah, is that GM should describe, and only if combat or another reason comes up, then show the picture. The problem then is like, show the picture after you've described, there can be a clash between what the player imagine and then when you show, and that can be harmful. What do you think, guys?
Well, I would also just caution that you don't want to condition your players to say, okay, if I have something to show you, that means combat.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know that you want to give that away.
I'm also
Yeah.
I don't just want to be like you're wrong or here, but I also like combat to be more narrative and less tactical. So
Yeah.
I don't really want to see a tactical map because I'm not
Yes.
interested in playing it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Nerdiagar said, well, if you use mini in a game, you don't expect it to be WYSIWYG. So
Yep.
you should a picture online. So why
Why
should
should a
should a
picture
picture online?
online be
Okay, online
WYSIWYG?
should be one word. Yeah, okay. I
Okay.
I was confused by that. But that's also something like I said even when I was playing with mini back then, like I always say, and I do like painting mini and stuff like that. I don't like. I think the modern mini are too high res.
Mm.
Because I think mini should keep a level of abstraction. Like they're game pieces. Like they're there to represent. Okay, this is an orc warrior, right? Like it give
Mhm.
the idea that it should, like, when you make it to detail. No, it's not an orc warrior. No, it's this orc warrior, right?
Mm.
So that's a mistake I think like mini maker do, and
Mhm.
like that sell because people like are going, oh, super high res mini. I
Well,
think they're
yeah, they
missing the
like, I
point.
don't want just a mini of a fighter. I need to have a mini of the fighter with this particular weapon and this particular
Yeah,
armor and this type of shield. And I'm like, okay,
yeah, yeah.
And
I
if
think
you're
like
gonna have a mini, it's awesome to make it look like your guy.
it
I
is.
don't
I mean,
understand what you guys are arguing for.
well, for the
well,
PC, that's one thing, right? But just anyway, for like the mobs and stuff like that, the trash mob, right?
yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
problem I have is with mobs
When
because
you're
like
talking about NPCs.
I'll have a whole bunch of goblins or a whole bunch of orcs, and but I like to describe the orcs. Like there's
Yeah,
one
sure.
orc with the septum piercing, and there's or whatever it is, right?
Fat
Like
orc.
Yeah. Like
yeah,
they're standing for position. They're not there to do the description for
I
you, right?
gotcha.
yeah.
I don't know why I thought you were talking about PCs, but
And
with the NPCs for sure.
at some point, I was even talking about like I was even talking about like I made like doing like modeling of a kind of like inspired by chess pieces and stuff like that, but like for Dungeon and Dragon creature, just like to bring more of the abstraction, go there. Anyway, that's a project we had at some point for a business venture that we didn't
Oh, I see.
realize.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like a pawn would be just saying that
Yeah.
this is a minion of some kind, and
Yeah, it was also like so they can be like they will make them like a kind of like squarish, right? Just like like when you see like you see like the pawn in Jumanji, right? Kind of inspired by that.
yeah,
But for orcs and goblins stuff like that, so you can just put them in a
right,
box. They all like they all like fit pretty nice, and they tell you the
right.
position, but then the facing and also that stuff. But they don't give the description. They don't take away the visualization. Just like
Yeah.
as, but anyway, it was a business venture we talked about at some point to solve this problem, but then we decided not to go forward with because at some point we have to choose what we do. But I'm a very entrepreneurial guy.
It's good. It's good. Blaster sword coming next year.
Blast your sword.
Yeah. The exact show for several seconds. Aesthetic show for background. Oh, the exact show. Okay, the exact. What is exact? Show for several seconds. The aesthetic show for background. No time limit until the scene and change. Yeah, we could even do like I guess like the background, like like my seal there in the background. We could put those background image there with aesthetic.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
But what else they have to say in the picture and visual aid? I think it was an interesting conversation. I don't know if there's any conclusion to be drawn from that.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like NPCs. It's a bit of an art. It's easy to go overboard. I'm with you guys. I think too much prep it just risks. Okay, I'm going to have to use this. I'm going to have to use that.
There's like a benefit on the stream though. Like it makes the stream more
Sure it does.
watchable.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Yeah.
If that's a pro.
Oh,
Well,
probably.
I guess it could be, right? I try
If
not
you're
to
a
make it a pro.
shill for your channel.
Yeah, exactly. I try not to make it a pro because I want the game to be as authentic as possible. Not like if we like okay, the one thing like if we were to wrap that up, right? What we discussed. Unless Phil, you have other thing you want, other point and wisdom you want to share.
No, I think you guys are covering it really well before I got here. I think you guys already have it covered.
I think the conclusion I would draw, and you're welcome to moderate that or to add or to say, "Oh, I don't agree with this one." Like, if you're not, if it's establishing shot, that's fine, especially if she's not going into an action scene right away, right? I think that would be like a good rule of thumb. Try to respect the POV of the character. I think that would be a good
Yeah.
rule of thumb as well.
Definitely.
And obviously, in a space game, you could fly down to a place, so the POV can mean something different, right?
Yeah, sure.
Don't overdo it with resolution. Sometimes it's good to keep some detail flu. Or
Mhm.
is it flu? What's the word in English?
Uh,
Blurry, I guess.
sure.
Fuzzy. Fuzzy is
Fuzzy.
the word I was looking for. Sometimes it's fine to keep some detail fuzzy because you don't
Mhm.
want player to go hunting for clue, but that might just be me.
Well, and
And
it depends on the game. Like you could, if we were playing Blade Runner, for example, there's a case to be made that in a murder mystery or something like that, maybe you do get the actual artifact picture of the crime scene. Like maybe there is something there.
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a bummer though.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't
Now
like
we're
that.
playing fucking seek and find on a
So you
picture.
could find. Yeah, that's right.
exactly. We're
That's
no longer
true.
playing
I don't
RPG
want
now.
to do that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
playing King's Quest.
King's Quest.
yeah,
What is
or
that
like
other
a
one?
Monkey Island.
Mist.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Mist.
Playing
Yeah,
Mist.
yeah, yeah. I guess that's a good point. Like, don't turn your game into Mist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, not there's nothing wrong with Mist per se, but that's that's not what you're doing when you're playing RPGs.
True.
I like the. I liked. I would like to see it a little more limited. I think you do maybe about 20% too many pictures
Hmm.
in your game. I think maybe when you change the scene, that's a good time for an establishing shot.
Sure.
I wouldn't throw. I don't know. I don't know why it feels that way. I couldn't explain it to you, but
Too
that's
much
just my
switching back
gut.
and forth.
It's my
Yeah.
gut because we had. It just always felt like there was another picture that was ready.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it did.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also like the interior, like for like the casino, like I said, like was like I would have done without because like the casino was shown empty and that
Yeah.
was a bit jarring.
There was
Uh,
no benefit, I think, to that casino
yeah, and
picture
exactly was not
because
needed.
Right.
it's not gonna. That is not what it looked like.
No.
Mm.
Right? It's like super. It's almost like a dream of a
Yeah,
casino. It's so. It's
Right.
such a. I
liminal.
don't know what to say. Liminal, is that a word?
Yeah, it was kind
Sure.
of liminal.
Okay.
Should I say like an empty space, right? Like that
Yeah.
doesn't feel real, right?
It was like a hallway of infinite doors. That is a
Yeah.
casino.
Yes.
It's like, where am I? Am
Yeah.
I in a nightmare right now, Crispy?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. The bar didn't take away anything for
Yeah,
me,
the
but
bar looked
didn't
more
add
real.
anything. But yeah,
But
because it
I
was
think
like
it did
what I
because
expected.
it kind of described where we were sitting really well. And then we went up
Yeah.
to the bar. So when you go to the bar, you have your backs to the people talking. And at one point, we jumped over the bar and we
Yeah.
knew that the door was over here.
But in the
We
same time,
used the
those
geography of
all
that room a lot.
those
Yes.
all thing also that could have been described as we acted with the scene, and then like that then become fixed there, and then we could have like also if we want to include the co-creation in that and being able to ourselves like
I feel like that picture is the perfect example of a good way to lay out the room and keep it at the front of your mind, and so you always kind of know where you are. So
okay,
that's what I meant when I said it could still be tactical.
almost
It's
tactical. I
so
I understand.
obvious
Yeah,
but still low detail. But it's like now I know where I am when I'm at the bar in relation to everything else in the room. Now I
yeah,
know where I am when I'm on the couch. I
I
know where
understand
the
what you say.
bartender is that's bringing the decanter around. He's walking around.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
I
I
understand what
never
you
have to re-remember how Crispy described that room. Like a
Hmm.
yeah.
big thing, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
I
kind of
understand what you say, and I'm not opposed to it. I'm not like I you make some good point.
yeah.
Uh,
I think this
but
is the
that's the
perfect.
thing. It's because like for this scene,
Yeah.
it worked for me, right? It didn't bother me at all. I didn't feel like I needed to spend time at looking at all the little detail, like where are the electrical outlet and shit like that, right? I
And there's
didn't
another
care, right?
point. when we were firing guns, like a bunch of guns got fired and there was a big explosion, and then you
Yeah.
threw a match behind
Yeah.
the bar and you knew that there was alcohol spilled all over there. Why do you know that? It was never mentioned. It's because you
No,
see this picture and you see these stacks of bottles everywhere.
Yeah.
You're like, all
But
that shit came crashing down on top of that area.
but I've been in bar enough that I would have assumed anyway it was like I shot at the bottle, right? Or something.
Okay.
I shot at the bottle, I think.
Well, there was a big EMP and
Yeah.
people,
No, but I
people
think
shooting. People were shooting wildly while
after shooting Skullface, I did shoot at the bottle and then threw my glass of with fire on it.
Yes.
I think that's what happened if I remember correctly.
Well,
But
I mean, you've worked
like,
in
I would
bar,
have
but it's
assumed.
a nice. This image is a
Yeah.
nice reminder
Yeah.
as to
Yeah.
what happens when
Yeah.
shots ring out past you over the bar. Like all those glasses are falling on top of you. Like
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
react to that in your anchoring
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like if the picture wasn't there, I
Mhm.
probably would have done the same thing. But the picture didn't like, and it's in a good sense, right? The picture didn't influence me more than it should in either way, right? In that case. But
Maybe I'm the problem, Max.
But no, not necessarily. The question I'm asking now is like because like I could see like this scene
As you're
worked
saying.
for me.
Yeah.
This scene worked for me and didn't bother like the picture didn't bother me at all. I could have done without. It was there, didn't bother me because like it was what I was expecting from this kind of scene, right? It wasn't jarring at all.
It is
But I could
exactly what you
easily see.
expect, but you don't have to explain. Like one of
Yeah.
the complaints that we get, that we
Yeah.
give each other, is when you're describing a very obvious room. It's like
Yeah.
you don't have to describe a boardroom table. You don't have to describe this. It's like,
Yeah.
does Crispy need to go through and describe? There's 2 leather couches. There's a bar. There's all this stuff. There's 3 chairs. He shouldn't need to describe that based on what we think. Right, because we will do that.
No. Yeah, exactly. But you could like if we didn't have the picture, you could have said like there's 2 leather couch fitting each other. There's a bar in the back of the room. It's very richly decorated, right? And it doesn't have to say there's stool and there's bottle on the wall because we can assume that, right? We doesn't have to say that there's this light fixture on the ceiling. We can assume that. He doesn't have to describe even like there's a little table or in ottoman in that case, I guess, between the couch because we can assume that. We can make it up if it becomes like relevant, or we can, or if it, it's not like I'm saying like this, we could have done without like, but it doesn't like what I'm trying to figure out. What I'm saying is like because this picture worked, but I could easily see another scene where it wouldn't work, right? And I'm trying to figure out what's the reason why,
There's one other factor about this picture that became really important narratively is because I saw this room before we ever got to the room.
Yes.
And then when we walk in the room, he's like, here's a picture of the room. And I'm like, oh, I've been here. I've seen this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an important part.
I think the
it's
other
not
reason
really
why
relevant to the argument, but it's kind of a cool.
Yeah, he saw this picture when he called from the harbor master.
I did a video call or something.
Yeah. But I think one of the key differentiators between this image and the other interior image of the casino, which really I don't think was needed at all, is when you look at this picture, the picture is taken as if you're standing there at the entrance to the room.
Yeah. And it
so
does
the
feel
perspective
like a real place.
is your eyes, right? Like you're in the right scale. Whereas if I look at this other picture of the interior of the casino
of nightmares,
the casino is not it's not the proper scale.
No,
this is,
and we're too high.
You're too high. It's not. It doesn't. Really
also, casinos don't look anything like this.
And
it's kind of like it's kind of snaky paths. And,
yeah, exactly. Whereas this has straight lines, and I was trying to go for some kind of futuristic with this. This what's going on with the chandeliers here, and then the private room in the very back, and these high roller tables. And
I think this would have been much better served as a very low res, solid description. So. And
just
we could have just been like, okay, I'm going to the craps table. Because where's the craps table here? There's no.
I don't know
anything.
I don't know what a craps table look like.
I don't see roulette.
It's like it's not even a table. Like
The
it's just
tables are too
stand
close
around
to
it.
the
I've never been to
video
a casino.
Yeah, there's no
lottery
roulette.
machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this doesn't work as well. The other one works better, I think, because of the perspective difference. For the same reason that the establishing of the interior of the capital city where you landed, the spire, I think those are okay. They probably weren't needed, but these
last-
ones where I'm just showing the interior, this rusted metal, and it's kind of run down. Let me show you that.
Oh, the inside of the first interior of the spire.
Yeah. Like this one, I think is okay
That
because I
was a
think the
very
perspective's
aesthetic
right.
picture.
It's
I
an
felt
aesthetic.
what I'm saying,
It's
yeah.
it's just
Oh.
it's just an aesthetic.
Yeah.
And you see this one, like, yeah, the detail is fuzzy. It gives an impression,
Yeah.
but it doesn't give you straight up answer. It doesn't give you
No.
like I'm not there like looking for clues because I understand that's an aesthetic. The thing that are fuzzy enough. It's low res.
Yeah.
And in my head, it doesn't look like this to me anymore. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
stalls and it's a very
Yeah.
busy marketplace.
Exactly.
That's
And that's
not
what I
really here in this
described.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That's not in this picture.
But I was fine with it still. Like
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, it's a rusted out piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
cavern. There's a bunch of floors. It's cool.
And I think
Yeah.
that the spire picture works because you're coming in to land at this place, right? Like so I think it kind of works. It's this one here.
Was there a picture of the bar?
Yes, I have one of those too. I can share that one.
Oh
so
yeah, it's
we
like
can
all
talk about that
wooden
one. We should talk about that one. This is
real quick before we switch off the casino bar.
Yeah.
I just want to say I think it might be my issue because I can't fucking remember anything. So whenever he describes where the couches are, like if he goes through that and be like, "Where am I on the fucking couch?" Like I'm gonna have that problem because I'm stupid.
I remember like when like for me like it gets fixed in my mind when like action has been taken with, right?
Yeah.
Because then it become important.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep,
But we weren't
true.
really getting a lot of action in there. You know, we were kind of meandering around that room for a little while. So it allowed me to like chew the scene a little bit more because I knew the layout. I could walk around it easier. I don't know. I liked it.
This Spire thing, I like it, but I feel like but it didn't feel like it belonged with the interior scene that you showed.
No, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't. So this one here, I think you get rid of one of the two. You keep this one and you just describe the interior. That's probably enough. I did have an interior shot. The only other interior shot of the spire is the one of the bar.
I think I like the other shot better, to be honest. I think I like the...
Just go with the other one, the hallway. Yeah. Leave this one.
Because this doesn't really show like where the docks are. Like
no, it doesn't show landing pads or anything like that. It's just...
Yeah. You don't get a lot out of it at all. Except that there's a giant camel.
There's a big camel thing. Where's this other? So this...
And I don't know if those exist or not.
Like it's desert.
This was the bar.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of janky because it's AI that drew the picture, but this was...
It has a weird office building on top.
Yeah, it has a 2-story kind of thing. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
that's all. I like this one. I like what I like the people are put in that place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like if this picture wouldn't have people in it, was empty, it would be much more jarring.
Yes.
And now the people are there, but they're also like they're just placeholder people on this script, right? No detail and stuff like that. I think that works. Gives the impression that okay, it's a bar, it's open, there's people in there, it's not in ruin.
It's a huge bar.
It's huge.
Like the bar, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a monster.
And also like there's not too many details. There's not like I was thinking about, let's say that you had like you do a scene with a kitchen, right? And then like you add and then you start like and you put a lot of detail in it, and there's like a propane tank, and there's like some conduit and stuff like that, and you have all this kind of thing. Now I'm gonna start like looking at those things and think about like I'm gonna be looking for clue, right, or what I can do, right? And I guess that could be cool.
I'm gonna shoot that panel.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
It's like now I'm back to just looking at like finding stuff to interact with the picture instead of like visualizing in my mind and making stuff up, right?
Right.
If you describe enough, like that this it's a kitchen in a we're in a little kitchen in the middle of nowhere in Shady Acre. Like we're in a fight in the kitchen of like the old man, right?
Right.
I could say like I shoot the
like this.
I could like decide to try to shoot the propane tank of the stove to make an
Mhm.
explosion, right? The propane tank wasn't there. I just made it up, right? But then that's fine, right? Just like
Yes.
or I shoot at the stove, and then I realized that there's no tank there, right? If
Is
you
that
like want,
fine?
if you
Can
yeah,
you
because
can you invent an explosive? You okay with it? What do you think,
I
Chris?
could no, like I said, he could say like, well, you shoot at the stove, but there's just piping, no tank, right? So
Right.
the
Right.
Yeah,
tank somewhere
it's
else.
empty or somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not inventing the tank. I'm just like I'm supposing there's one, but I can be cock blocked easy.
I feel
Yeah,
like
there's
I've been having a lot of issues with like 4D co-creation in the campaign.
Really?
Like I'm reluctant to do it.
Oh, really?
really?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like
Why do
really
you
approaching it in 3D.
I thought you did some good one.
Maybe a couple NPCs because I love spawning NPCs.
Yes.
My favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. The Casper scene was great.
Casper.
The quartermaster of the duck.
Oh yeah.
Some people we didn't see.
Nope.
There's
Work.
got to be an office there, right?
Yeah.
I also kind of gave him a screen door. I was channeling some Karate Kid right there. Like I was imagining he was like in Mr. Miyagi's office.
Oh, yes.
You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know.
Yeah.
You know the scene I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Of course, Crispy does.
Yeah. Of course I don't.
Because he's a part of Western civilization, so he knows about Karate Kid.
Of course. Mr. Miyagi? Of course. Yeah. So,
Yep.
I
What
mean,
do you think about the space stations as far as
I like them. Not too much detail.
strategic? Like, oh, I'm gonna go over here on this left side.
Like there's not too much detail. There's something in the middle there.
Mhm.
It could be the command center. It could be something else, right? It doesn't give you the answer right away.
It's more the other one that had like
The
the
other one?
3 prongs.
yeah, that one, I liked it because it looked weird.
Yeah,
This
this
one?
one.
Yeah, but the angle is weird enough that it's like a I don't know. That's a
I don't know if
branch.
you get
that
anything out of
stands-
that. Yeah, I don't know what you could get out of that one.
Maybe not. Maybe it's better to just leave that one as a description.
Well,
But
no,
also
I
there
mean,
was like the
what
very
I'm
first
trying
thing.
to say is I don't know if there's any sort of tactical trying.
Oh, yeah. You're not. Yeah, no.
But that was there like the first thing. We were not in an action scene. It was just there
Yeah.
to set a tone. So
This is
I was fine with that, right?
Start of the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the start of the game. Where
Yeah.
Because I think like
that's
I
where
think
you
like
started.
the context also like the context changed a lot. Like if you're not in tactical
Mhm.
scene, if you're just like a more like what I call like interaction tempo, not action
Yeah.
tempo, right?
Yeah.
It's a different vibe, so you can like get away with more. I would say so. Don't
I think
go don't go with over detailed picture. That would be like
No.
the other advice I'd say, and try to stick with picture that are in the POV of the character.
Yes.
One
That'd be
thing
like
that this picture does convey is that there's a lot of structures in orbit.
Yes,
So I
it
don't
does.
know if that is intentional or.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't want to think that was.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't either.
Cool.
What other
This one's
ones
got a
do we
couple of
have?
little.
Oh, we just
drones
have, and then I had a bunch of ships here. We didn't end up
Nice.
using. I used this one.
Use that guy.
Yeah.
The Terror.
I didn't use this one. I'll use that one later,
nice.
maybe. These guys we used, those were the stairwell guys. Didn't use him.
No.
Probably some kind of
use him.
environmental armor.
Yep.
I think. Keep you cool.
There's
User.
Isabel. Didn't use her.
Oh, shit! We need
save
to go
her for
back,
later.
man.
Yeah, save
Yes.
her for later.
This is your newest crew member.
We missed one of the AI babe.
You missed
We gotta
missed
go back.
Luda. Yeah, there's
What's
Luda.
the achievement tree to unlock the blonde one?
I know. Hey, you totally missed that. These were some other guys. This was
Yeah.
another
This one has been
Metal
flashed, but
face.
like quickly
I think we
removed.
saw
flash
that
really
one.
quick.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
Yeah.
we didn't see it.
Flash very quick.
he was
We
with this
Accidentally
guy.
saw that one. Okay.
Yeah.
There's the mech. There's Divot. These were other
Who's that?
guys I didn't use. I
Well,
like
we
the
might go
alien-like
back.
thing in the
We'll never
background.
see.
Yeah, some other guys just didn't end up
And
using.
Ninja.
There's
I,
the
don't- I want you to
Conman.
know, Crispy, I don't mind if you like make a convenient reason for us to go back. I don't hate that sort of plot device.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's sort of like, we got to go back there.
Well, you do
Well,
have Evelyn.
we-
She may get
yeah.
homesick.
Well,
And
she
doesn't
can
mean we
find-
will go back, right? We can
can
always
just
like try to
find
push
it
her.
for
You can always try to fucking influence us to go back. Doesn't mean we will.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, this was the drone thing that I didn't realize was a Star Wars thing. Max, cancel your Disney
That's
Plus.
me trolling the
Max
guy.
knows all the Disney Star Wars series, but he doesn't know Karate Kid.
Well,
I
I'm not
know,
Karate
hey?
Kid with somebody
Priorities,
made
man.
YouTube video trashing them.
I've liked your ship. I thought the ship
I like it
worked
a lot, too.
well.
Yeah.
Enjoy
I like
that.
this little.
Although
I want to say that this cargo, like,
yeah, this thing in the spine
thing is
there.
detachable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Obviously
I
it
do too.
is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it is.
It's like a what's that called? A container.
Yeah,
Basically, just a
it's
container.
like one of those TEUs, right?
C-can.
It's a C-can.
Yeah.
Anyway, love that ship. I think it's great.
But I'm not fixed on the size of the ship though. I gotta admit.
It's
No,
supposed to
some of the others.
be
I'll
a
go back then.
size 4 ship, right? So
Yeah, but like the other one. We should switch the new thumbnail for this because we're in a new
Yeah.
location now.
what
I
did
like
our
this one a lot, but I don't like the watermarks that are in it. So yeah.
Yeah.
what did our homebrew decide size 4 meant?
I'd have to look into the sheet on that. That's a good
like
question.
like in that C-can, like the C-can thing in the middle.
Yes. I don't. Oh no, size 4 is the size of our ship, our
Yeah.
whole size.
No, but like like we said it in the cargo, we could fit like a semi remorque, right?
Mhm.
Semi remorque. What does that mean?
A semi
Yeah.
trailer.
Like a
Oh,
semi-trailer.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly a semi trailer. It could be bigger than that. Maybe there's bigger containers now. I don't know.
That hang down more.
Mhm.
No, I'm saying like that is a bigger container.
This part.
No,
here.
like no. I mean like no, but like that would be a bigger container than what we have here. Like that's bigger than a C-can. You cannot put like a semi trailer, a semi with its trailer in a C-can. But
Right,
put
but
a
you could
C-can
park
on
a semi
trailer.
into maybe you could park a
You
semi.
can put a
in.
C-can on a semi.
Yeah.
But this can take a semi, so this could take a truck with a C-can on it.
For
it's
sure, it
bigger.
can hold 2 shuttles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we had,
it's pretty big.
Maybe
be
that's
pretty big.
Maybe we
'Cause-
make that the hangar. Maybe there's like an internal dock that's like a shipping area, and then it also has a capacity to hold a can.
It's probably like a maybe that we to have
Maybe
the hangar.
we're canless right now.
Yeah,
I
canless.
don't know.
Oh no, I think it's probably this. No, we are also like a bunch of whiskey and leather in there.
Yeah, you've got a bunch of trade goods now.
But I think if we want to have a hangar, we probably need to switch that can for another module
So you're
that do the
saying
hangar thing.
we can't hold 2 shuttles right now?
Well, we could, but like it'd be hard to put them in because like the ship is not configured for that. No. But like technically the ship could, but you just have to replace this can. Now it's in cargo mode, right?
How dare you
And then-
nerf our ship? The way you do. I'm trying to give us more storage. You're over here
Yeah.
punching it in the balls.
Do you want to talk about morality now?
Oh,
I
I
haven't
might
watched
have to leave that one
either-
too. I'm probably gonna call it a night,
Okay.
gentlemen.
Well, we
but-
can
Can we
talk about it.
Can we talk
What?
real quick about the plan for tomorrow?
yeah, game tomorrow, 7:00. You're still cool. New Amsterdam.
We can. Are you wanting to run Horizon again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's fine with me.
Yeah. I know
I
you
was
wanted
gonna
you
I
wanted
was gonna
to
float the idea of a no prep challenge on Monday, but
Hey, I'm good. I'm down with that too, Phil. If you want to do that, that's cool.
what do you think, Max?
I'm glad with either.
Me too. Let's just keep
But
doing
I would be what?
Let's just keep doing our game.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens when you're in.
But we need to do a no prep challenge with you at some point, Crispy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. I need it. I would like that very much.
I'm just the reason why I keep asking is because I don't know if you're burning out, Crispy. That's why I'm asking.
Oh no. That's the beauty of not prepping all this in advance.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of
And
burnout.
I'm excited to see this new location, to be honest.
Yeah.
See what we're gonna find out there, right? Just like
yeah.
It's very different.
What's it gonna be like?
I don't know. Yeah,
I wonder if Crispy is also wondering what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. I am wondering what it's like.
I don't know why I went
told
with
you guys,
that name.
I'm experimenting with my in-person game where if they roll a perception check, I just say if it's a success or a failure. I don't tell them what it is. They come up with it. So
that's fine.
It's an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
I'm about to get shot. Oh, okay.
If that's what you say. Well, oh no, there's more coming. Okay, if that's what you say, that's what it is. So yeah.
So we're wrapping it up. We've been at it for 2 hours and we didn't
2 hours. And we covered a couple good topics like the role of NPCs, you know, how many are too many, what should they be doing. I thought we did great with that. And then the visual aids and how a better visual aid is from the point of view or perspective of as if you walked in and saw it with your own eyes.
That's another flaw of the casino picture is because it looks like you're supposed to be perceiving it from that angle, but you're also like way up high in the ceiling.
You're too high. Yeah.
And it looks like the casino from the Shining Hotel. So it's
yeah. Whereas the other one works great because it is perspective of as if you were walking into the room.
Yeah.
So,
and when I'm walking into that casino, that's not where I'm walking in from. I'm walking in from the side.
That's right.
Well, it could have been a veranda on the top that we could have looked down on the floor. That would have been fine, but it would have been clear that.
You know, it would have been a pretty solid image instead is having like the doorman entrance. And then when we get in, you just kind of start describing it verbally, I think. I don't know. That might have been more tactical.
I was talking about that with the vault, right? Having just like from the door, right? Having the picture from the door.
That would have
we
been
have
better.
Imperfect information, and then we can make up the rest, right? Just like just a first impression.
Yeah. Get like a peek through the door. See something in there. It's orange in there.
Those are probably like hard to generate.
Yeah.
They are. So it's at some point, it's not worth your time to spend hours prompting. I have to give props to Big Bad. He helped me out a lot with these images. So many of them he just made for me, which was great. I was like, hey, I need a bunch of guys, space cowboys, and then give me some women too. And, you know, the spaceships, I find more luck just going on Pinterest and searching spaceships than trying to get the AI to draw it. So I
found out that you can search for hot babes on the internet too, Crispy.
Oh, you can? Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds spicy.
Hot babes near you.
They all live near you? Impossible.
It's an unusually high concentration in East Texas.
Yeah.
In braggadocious or whatever.
Yeah. We're very braggadocious and nagadocious.
Sorry, nagadocious. Yeah. Well, Salmon Arm doesn't have a whole lot, but I don't care because
I check the internet. You know,
happily married. No need
for research.
No
I'm
need.
just looking for NPC for the game, babe.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
It's
for NPCs, babe.
No need. I'm happy. So, all right. Well, that sounds good, Max. It was fun to talk about those. That's great.
Yeah. What do you think, Phil? You want to keep going, or are you wrapping it up?
No, I got school tomorrow. Wrap it up.
All right, let's wrap it up then. 2 hours are good. I think we covered 2 topics, which is great.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Thank you, Crispy, for joining me for that, and Phil for jumping in at the end there. Yeah.
Thanks for
having. And thank you for the people in chat that listen to us or watch us, and the people that gonna watch on the replay, make sure to check those guys' channel, Fill the Trail and Table Runner. The name is there on screen, below their name. And we'll be back tomorrow for the Horizon game session 5.
5. We're up to 5.
New Amsterdam. We're down to 1 AI babe. But
Yes,
there should
just
be
down
more.
to 1.
We gotta
But you're heading to New Amsterdam, so
Yeah.
the field might be rich.
Come on.
You never know.
Any
Look at
final
this guy.
wall there,
Look at this
guys?
guy. Love you, Squirrel
Yeah,
Hermit.
thank you,
Yeah,
man.
man. Thanks for coming by. It's fantastic.
Any final words, Any final words, guy?
May I say one thing?
Of course.
I went to a convention this weekend, and I played a convention game.
Oh, geez. How was it?
And it was jarringly bad.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
A guy read from a module in the back of a book. It was a cipher. I never played cipher before. I don't know that I played it because I never rolled anything. Actually, he asked me to roll some things. I don't know why, but I kept trying to like do things, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like I didn't say anything, and he just kept reading.
Was he role playing your character? But no, you moved there and you do
like
that.
I would say something like I'm going to try and get those or I say, guys, stop playing that music, because they were like bewitched by the devil or something. And and then the GM would say, you would tell them to do something like that. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
So you couldn't.
You should do a video on that. Phil, you should do a video on that.
Yeah,
do a tweakers on that.
Yeah.
Man.
It was such an unusual experience.
I never done that.
I was like, I don't even know how to play this game. This is weird. I was
just there to roll the dice when he tells you, right?
I was with the BLG guys, and they were able to muscle through and basically hijack the game and make it about them, which was probably what I should have done. But I was just like, I don't care about this anymore. So I tried to do that, but he just ignored me and focused on the people that were doing the thing on the rails.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Well, and just assumed I never said anything. And
there was a set time, and the train needed to keep on going, right, and reach this destination.
Yeah. And eventually I was like, oh,
brutal.
Let me go up to that train. Guys, I was doing something.
Yeah. Can't imagine, man.
Yeah. Sounds awful. And smelly.
Nah, everyone was smelled fine.
Oh, that's good.
Everyone smelled fine.
Yeah.
That's
good. Can I show you some swag real quick?
Yeah. See the haul.
$10 a piece. I don't know if this game's good, but I got DCC here.
Oh, I have that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that one as well.
Book. $10.
Yeah.
$10. Cheap. That's super cheap. Good buy.
$10 also. It's a Mutant Raw Classics.
I've got that one too.
I don't have that one though.
Got both
I have
for
that
20.
One. Yeah. $20. That's a good haul for $20, man.
Yeah.
Went ahead and grabbed some of these dice right here. I don't know.
Hey, why not? That's great.
You're in a fucking convention, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
You have to come
Spend
up with
money.
come back with some swag.
And then I ran a game of Vampire 5th Edition for BLG. And
how'd that go?
Not at the convention. Not at the convention though.
Well, it was at the convention.
Oh yeah, but just with those guys.
And they had a friend there too, who's also badass.
Okay.
How did that go? Was that awesome?
It was pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, so you got 5 minutes for me to.
Yeah, I want to hear it. Yeah.
So basically, I set the premise that their clan leader was kind of getting framed. He was going to sacrifice his body because he's kind of a pacifist.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to save his child or something. And those guys were like, we're gonna kill him because he's making us look like bitches. I was like, oh, okay. So they went on this crusade to find his child, who was the source of the problems, kill him, and then go find the boss and kill him as well, and then take their ashes to the prince and the people who were framing them and say, we handled it, just to kind of throw their dick on the table. And I killed young Steve. by the end.
Mhm.
He died to the boss,
Mhm.
but that was the last like encounter. They killed him too, so it was really funny. Those guys are awesome, and it was like so ridiculously night and day the fun that was had.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude, the end of that other convention game, it's
Mhm.
like he just stopped reading, and there was no action. They actually didn't resolve the issue, but the words ran out, and so they were
So we
like
just stood up and walked
That's it?
away.
there was this like demon tree or something, and these guys walked up to the demon tree, and I guess they were supposed to either destroy the tree or not destroy the tree or decide. And so they decided to go back to the town to go do something or try to fulfill some sort of bargain with a demon or something.
Mhm.
And then he was like, "That's the end." They're like, what? Still like 2 hours remaining in the slot too. It was like
Already.
man.
no reason for it to end. It's
Hmm.
just the end of the book.
Wow.
Holy shit!
Oh, there you go. You won. I guess you reached the end.
I don't think
And
I spoke for the last hour. I was just like, sitting there looking at my phone.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I actually think I started walking around, and I basically did the Irish goodbye and walked out of
Yeah.
there at one point.
Poor
That's
guy.
awesome that you got to play with BLG and
I put up
have
the
them in a
effort
game.
for my game,
Mhm.
but no one showed up, which was fine. I don't think I would have accepted anyone. It's just like I play with these guys.
You all failed the recruitment.
You guys had a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the elitist table, actually.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's funny because there's no mark on one table, and I think that we ended up stealing someone's table, but it wasn't
Mhm.
marked.
Mhm.
And so people kept walking up there and going, "I think this is table 8." We're like,
Mhm.
"It doesn't say table 8. I don't know where it is." And they're just like, "Well, once we figure it out, we might just sit here, or I'll just join you guys in your vampire game." And they're like, "Nah, I don't think so. Game's full." It's like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they would say that.
I love hanging out with rude people.
Mhm.
Like you need.
But it wasn't
assholes around you.
It wasn't the first time you played with young Steve, though.
No.
Yeah, he was in our Fear City game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yep.
was.
And he wasn't another one. No, they didn't join us twice.
Just the ones that I can remember.
Just the once. Oh yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
I think it's just the ones who.
He was good though. It would be good to have him back.
Their friend was really good.
Well,
He was good.
Yeah.
they should make an appearance in the Horizon at some point.
For sure.
Well, I think they're still pushing the locals as a way to get in games.
Oh, you're not good enough. we have to pay for them to join them.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we gotta get on there.
Pony up your $5 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna join our game if we don't pay them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe they could bring one with them.
Mm-hmm.
You think that would get it?
When they're local, when they're local.
Yeah, one of their lottery ticket holders or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe.
one of the
They've
raffle
been
guys.
vetted. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
They've been
about that.
properly vetted only. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Anybody? I'm not in a rush to wrap up, but you all are.
that was
like,
cool.
lights
I'm
and
glad
stuff
you
like
shared that, Bill. That was fun to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice people though.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
Yeah.
meet anyone I didn't like.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Success.
Yeah. Must have been a good atmosphere there too, right? People
Sure.
energized and stuff like that, right? Just think.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Actually, I was wearing my tie-dye 4D t-shirt and
Yes.
a ridiculous swamp hat. No one else
Yeah.
was really dressed in a ridiculous manner. And I got a lot of no one made eye contact with me for the majority of the event. I was like, "Hi, have you heard the good news about 4D?"
Yeah, you should get it printed on the
Just
back.
show that like a crazy person.
Just a giant logo that says
Crispy
4D.
Crispy's wife thinks I'm the best.
Yes.
Big
I should
print
get
on the
that
back.
written on the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4D star player.
4D star player.
The best in quotes, and then like dash Crispy's wife. Right?
Then people definitely won't be looking at you. Like, who is that guy?
That's exactly right.
That's awesome.
Well, send
All right.
send your family my best, Crispy.
You got it, man. You got it.
Max, you have my best too. You know,
Yeah, I don't have a family to send
with
any
your
best.
animals or something.
My dog. Yeah, he can
Don't
hear you.
forget the cats. There's 2 cats.
3 cats.
3 cats. Never mind.
These cats are fighting each other.
Yes, they are. Only 2 of them are. One of them is good cat, so I don't talk to him about him as much because it doesn't cause any trouble.
Yeah.
Poor little thing, right? That's what he get.
Yeah.
He's old.
So much drama over there.
Yeah. All right. I'm
Sounds good.
gonna press the button. Have a good night,
Okay.
all.
Good night.
Bye.